videos about the Marvel Universe, starting with the top 10 superheroes. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. Boom. A violent crash sounded. Point in the surveillance video. A car crashed into a tree. The front of the car completely collapsed, and a ball of flames and smoke erupted. Point. If you look at it this way, it looks like an ordinary car accident. Point. However, at this moment, a motorcycle roared over, parked next to the vehicle, and a figure stepped down. Bucky. See this scene. Point. Countless people had a bad premonition in their hearts. They seemed to be able to imagine that the people in this vehicle would definitely be killed by Bucky. Video continues when Bucky stepped off his motorcycle. Point. A gray-haired man also climbed out of the driver's seat of the vehicle. Point. Then the video seemed to travel through time and space and enter the surveillance video, and an extremely clear picture appeared. When they saw who this person was, countless people were shocked. Save my wife, please, help. It's Howard. He's Tony Stark's father. Boom, boom, boom. This scene was like a critical strike that made countless people's hearts tremble. Their faces were full of shock and disbelief. I can't believe it at all that Bucky is chasing Mr. and Mrs. Howard. I've seen him. He appeared in the Captain America video. The man who made Captain America's shield and operated the super serum device. Howard. Holy crap. Bucky is actually hunting down Mr. and Mrs. Howard. They are Iron Man's parents. What? How could it be like this? The barrages on the dimensional platform were flooding the screen like crazy. Point. It can be seen that countless people never imagined that such a thing would happen. Point. Can't help but be reminded of what Tony said to Captain America in the Captain America video. Your shield was made by my father. You are not worthy to use it. Silence. Speechlessness along with the sad background music. Countless people's hearts are extremely heavy. Point. I was even praying in my heart that Bucky didn't kill Howard and his wife, but how can the reality be what they want? The video continues when Howard was still shouting for help. Point. Bucky pulled Howard up cold-bloodedly, then poured all his power into the metal arm of his left hand and swung it at him. Even before the fist came, the wind of the fist arrived first, scattering the flames and smoke. Boom. A dull crashing sound resounded. Bucky's metal arm hit Howard hard in the face, along with the crisp sound of bones breaking. Blood flowed out directly. See this scene. Point. Countless people felt as if the punch hit them in the face and reflexively closed their eyes tightly. Point. What's more, Tony is watching the surveillance video, and Tony is watching the video. Their movements are very consistent. Point. While feeling sad and angry, I couldn't bear to look at it. Clenched his fists tightly. The murderous intent was already revealed in his eyes. My whole body is shaking. Boom, boom. Another punch. Another punch. Howard was killed directly. Point. Then he was dragged into the driver's seat by Bucky, his head hanging on the steering wheel, and from this angle, he could see Howard's wife, Tony Stark's mother, trembling with fear and constantly shedding tears. The background music is so desolate that it makes countless people feel like their hearts are on edge and they even dare not look directly. It is painful and sad to see a friend die with your own eyes, so watching your parents die with your own eyes is called pain and despair. Click. A crisp sound sounded. Point. Bucky breaks her neck. Point. Countless people also closed their eyes tightly. While my heart is extremely heavy, I also feel extremely depressed. It seems like I can't breathe. They now finally know what happened to make Tony Stark lose his mind. Point. That is watching Bucky kill his parents. However, in the next second, what countless people did not expect was that Tony's voice trembled, and he looked at Steve desperately, but could not hold back tears, and asked, "Do you know?" I didn't know it was him. Zero ask. 4 flowers don't lie to me. Rogers. Let me ask you, do you know about this? No. Call. When? Steve answered this sentence. The pupils of countless people were the same as Tony's pupils in the video, dilated rapidly, and their faces were full of disappointment and despair. It turns out that Captain America has known about this for a long time. But he still chooses to protect Bucky. Next, the scene of Captain America, Iron Man and Bucky fighting was played again. Played twice. But the perception is completely different, especially when Tony said, "I was also your friend." Countless people shed tears. In the vision, he saw the scene of his friend dying, so he always felt that he had not done enough, and he wanted to risk his life every time, so he basically never saw him rest. But this time, his friends didn't choose him. Feeling distressed. Extremely distressed. They seemed to see a child avenging his parents, but his friends did not help him, and he was lonely and helpless. Damn. I feel so bad. Why do you treat Tony Stark like this? That's right. The hatred between parents is irreconcilable. If Thor came, he would kill Bucky without hesitation. But Bucky, hasn't he been brainwashed? The person who accused him of doing the mission should be blamed, right? Although Bucky was brainwashed and controlled by others, as a human being, at that time, could he hold back? I feel so sorry for him. He is always the one who thinks about others. Is there no one who thinks about him even once? Countless people lamented. The most selfish guy ever, but he is always thinking of others, but no one thought about him. He lay on the ground like a poor and helpless child, letting the wind and snow slap on his face. Loneliness, disappointment, sadness, a mixture of emotions. People who are watching the video know that, even though Iron Man has lost his mind and wants crazy revenge, he is reluctant to cut off his friendship with Captain America. The phrase "your shield was made by my father, you are not worthy of using it." I heard it before. Maybe it was accusing Captain America of not being worthy of using it. But now it sounds more like a kind of retention. Retaining friends. Wow. After watching the fight scene again. Countless people shed tears. I feel sorry for Tony Stark. But they believe that Tony Stark will never fall like this. At this time. The background music suddenly became intense and high-pitched. As if responding to their thoughts. The expectations of countless people have once again been filled. They are looking forward to Tony Stark being able to stand up again and become a superhero again. Then Lin Lan's voice sounded, with a hint of sympathy and a hint of appreciation. Tony Stark is not selfish at all. He even does everything for others, because he was isolated in a desert cave and no one could find him. So he added a positioning system to Spider-Man's suit, because he was making the first generation suit that flew high into the sky, but froze and lacked oxygen. So he provided oxygen in Spider-Man's suit, and overcame the freezing, because he shivered while walking in the ice and snow for a long time. He added a heating function to the suit made by Spider-Man. Chapter 127. Because he didn't have time to catch his fallen friend in Civil War, he added a parachute to the suit Spider-Man made. All of this comes from Iron Man's tragic experience in his early years. Even though he was disappointed and saddened by his friends this time, even though he could live a selfish life, when disaster struck, he stood up without hesitation and waved his heavy hand at the most powerful enemy in history. One punch. Lin Lan's voice sounded high every sentence. Let the souls of countless people tremble. They never thought that little spider's new suit would have so many functions, and they all come from the tragic experience of Iron Man. But when they heard the last words, a sense of anticipation is rising at this moment. They recalled the name Spider-Man said before disappearing in the Spider-Man video. Mr. Stark. Isn't it none other than Iron Man, Tony Stark? So they are crazy to know what happened on that planet. Who was the person saved by Doctor Strange using the time stone? Is it Tony Stark? They are looking forward to and praying to see Iron Man cheer up again, and even more want to see what the author said, swing a heavy punch to the most powerful enemy. Thanks to readers at 13,965, 13,026, and a 13,735 for their monthly votes. Factory 84. Thanos, tell me, will you bleed? Bucky. At this time. Tony Stark, who was watching the video, gritted his teeth and roared in a low voice. My whole body was shaking. I held back the tears and didn't shed them. Once upon a time, he had always thought that his father didn't care about him at all. But when he was dying and about to die of poisoning, he saw the video data left by his father. Only then did he understand. It turns out that his father doesn't care about him. It's just that he doesn't know how to speak. Now it is shown directly. His father and mother were killed by Bucky. How could he bear it? Mr. Stark. Aside. Peter Parker, the little spider, felt very sorry for him. Especially when the author said that Stark took all the grief he had experienced into consideration and made many details for his suit. He felt extremely warm inside. At the same time, he felt that Stark was like a father. It's uncomfortable to see Stark now. He also felt uncomfortable. But he didn't know what to do, so he just put his hand on Stark's shoulder and half hugged him, hoping to give him some comfort. "I'm fine, Tony." Stark took a deep breath. Although her voice was still trembling. But it was obvious that he was slowly returning to his senses. Bucky hasn't shown up yet. Even if you look for it, it may be like looking for a needle in a haystack. He needs time now to calm down. At this time, Nick Fury said in a low voice with a hint of excitement, "Stark, I used to think that the finger Doctor Strange raised on the final battlefield was towards Captain. But now I feel that it seems to be towards you. You may be the person he saved, and the guy who saved the world." Here, the words of Nick Fury. Tony Stark's attention was drawn. "Even though my heart is still very sad and painful. But he also wants to know, is he really the one who saves the world?" As Nick Fury said. 587. It's not just him. Everyone watching the video is filled with anticipation. Staring at the video, looking forward to seeing what happened on that unknown planet, swinging a heavy punch to the most powerful enemy. You know, the Hulk was beaten by Thanos. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what will happen on that planet. Is it finally going to be revealed now? I just want to know if the one Doctor Strange bought with the Time Stone is Iron Man. I have a strong hunch that's right. Let's watch the video. In the midst of much anticipated. Video continues. The background music seems to have returned to the soft piano sound from the beginning. Echoes videos like Spider-Man. The colorful universe was extremely quiet, and a huge spaceship was seen floating in the vacuum, seemingly aimlessly, passing by one dazzling nebula after another. However, at this moment, the spacecraft suddenly lost control and collided with a planet that was full of deserts and ruins. It caused a strong shockwave and kicked up a cloud of sand and dust, which rolled and roared like a tsunami, sweeping in all directions. And go. The camera zooms in. Came inside the spacecraft. Iron Man, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man appeared in front of everyone. See this scene. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, Iron Man is really here. Then I heard Spider-Man say something strange. Iron Man, on the other hand, scolded him seriously, just like his father. "I just want to say something is coming this way. Just." When Spider-Man finished saying this, the background music became very tight and urgent. The people who were watching the video were holding their breath and tense, eager to know what was coming this way. But just when Spider-Man finished saying this, dong in the video, a round ball flew over and came to their feet. It hit the iron plate with a crisp sound and then exploded. The shock wave that exploded directly blew the three of them away and then landed heavily on the ground. Looked up. The camera follows Doctor Strange's perspective and looks forward. All I saw was the mist. A figure wearing a mask and holding two guns, a muscular man who doesn't seem to have a very high IQ, and a woman with two tentacles on her head. When everyone in the universe sees this scene, they all took a breath of cold air. Isn't this is Star-Lord? Holy crap. Star-Lord, you're really on the list. You're just in someone else's video. It's actually Star-Lord. Has he always been so brave? I look forward to Doctor Strange beating him up. That's right. Beat this bastard to death, Star-Lord. @. Just wait and see how I beat them. The Barrage started flowing like crazy. Star-Lord resisted countless barrages with one person. He asked Rocket Raccoon and others on the side to hide their faces and pretend not to recognize him. Then continue watching the video. Looking forward to what kind of story will happen when Star-Lord appears here. The video continues when Star-Lord, Drax the Destroyer, and Mantis came in. They directly fought Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. In the end, Star-Lord captured Spider-Man, while Iron Man controlled Drax the Destroyer. Seeing this scene, people watching the video realized that the two parties had never met each other. And because Star-Lord is such a fool, the fight started. Let me ask you, where is Gamora? Star-Lord asked angrily. And heard the words. Iron Man looked confused, so he responded, I have a better question. Who is Gamora? I have someone better than you. Why are you asking Gamora? Drax the Destroyer asked aggrievedly. It made people laugh. And Star-Lord's words brought this fast to an end. Okay, you won't tell me, right? Then I will kill the three of you, and then I will go find Thanos for revenge. Wait, who do you serve? Who am I serving? Jesus, you are from Earth? Then why are you beating us? So you are not with Thanos? With Thanos? Of course not. I'm here to kill Thanos. He took my girlfriend. Wait, who are you? Chapter 128. We are the Avengers. When the conversation is over, the barrage is even more frantic. You're so damn funny that you're going to kill me. Ha 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 ha. Star-Lord, what are you doing? Good guy, you start fighting when you disagree, and you end up hitting yourself in the face. That's right. Shut up before you don't figure it out next time. Star-Lord, did you hear that? I'm going to kill Thanos. Just watch it. Come on. It's just you. I don't believe it. This video is like an episode, making countless people feel a lot happier from the sadness just now. At this time, the background music became increasingly calm, even a little peaceful. This also made people who had just recovered feel something bad again. It's like the calm before the storm. It makes people feel slightly uneasy. Here he comes again. He gave us a funny video as an interlude to make us think we were finally relaxed, and then he suddenly unleashed a big move to scare us. When you say that, I'm starting to get a little nervous. It always feels like this is the calm before the storm. Hiss. Could it be that Thanos is coming? When this barrage attracted the attention of countless people. Sudden, the background music was as fast and dangerous as they thought. Even if they are on guard. But I have to say, everyone was shocked. Then everyone saw Thanos figure in the picture. Really? Thanos is coming. But to their surprise, only Doctor Strange was sitting there chatting with Thanos, while the others were hiding in various places, preparing to deal with Thanos together. See this scene. The hearts of countless people are beating loudly, extremely nervous and looking forward to whether they can successfully defeat Thanos. Thanos now has 4 Infinity Stones. Very powerful. In video. When Doctor Strange casts a spell on Thanos, the background music also became intense and high-pitched. The anticipation of countless people was instantly filled. Then I saw a huge meteorite-like heavy object falling from the sky, driven by Iron Man. With extremely terrifying pressure, it flew in front of Thanos in a flash of lightning. Boom. The earth-shattering explosion resounded through the sky, and a heavy object like a meteorite hit Thanos hard. The force that exploded directly shook the terrifying impact airwave, and set off a tsunami-like wave of sand and dust, causing the momentum is huge. But just when people thought it would cause harm to Thanos, I saw the cool purple light belonging to the Power Stone, and the heavy object instantly disintegrated into countless fragments. Then, under the influence of the Reality Stone, it turned into countless birds, and flew towards Iron Man, blasting him hundreds of meters away. Then superheroes hidden in every corner appeared one after another with the help of Doctor Strange. Spider-Man wrapped the webbing around Thanos and pulled it from behind, while Doctor Strange's magic chain and Star-Lord's magnetic device sucked Thanos' right hand, while Iron Man was responsible for the left hand wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. Keep pulling outward. Even though Thanos struggled, they still had Mantis sitting on top of him, constantly trying to make him fall asleep. Seeing this tense and exciting scene, countless people feel excited. This is Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. He was actually controlled. Hiss. I didn't expect that they cooperated really well. They actually controlled Thanos. Yes, maybe we can pull the Infinity Gauntlet out of Thanos' hands. It's so exciting. I'm really looking forward to what will happen. Countless people held their breath and concentrated. His eyes were fixed on the Infinity Gauntlet point. Just when they thought they could pull out the Infinity Gauntlet point, sudden Star-Lord blasted Thanos in the head like crazy. The moment Spider-Man takes off the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos suddenly woke up and then blew everyone away. Boom. See this scene. Countless people were stunned. It feels like there is a fire burning in my heart. They never expected that the perfect moment that could have stopped Thanos would be ruined by Star-Lord. Holy shit, you fucking Star-Lord. You are a asterisk. I finally managed to control Thanos. I finally took off the Infinity Gauntlet. Did you cause the disaster that happened next with just one punch? You must be a fucking idiot. At ****. I can't bear it anymore. I'm going to Zinda prison to beat you up now. Countless people are madly complaining about Star-Lord Zero. Even the extremely active Star-Lord himself did not expect that it would be his punch that would cause the subsequent disaster. Just when everyone was extremely angry. The battle in the video is getting more and more intense. It attracted them again in an instant. When Star-Lord and the other three were directly knocked down, Doctor Strange was knocked unconscious, and Spider-Man went to save Mantis. Only Iron Man remains. What would he do? Of course that is to attack Thanos. Although the background music is still so passionate and moving at this moment, it seems to be mixed with a little sadness, because the current Iron Man is just like in the previous video. He fights desperately every time. This scene was watched by countless people. I have more and more respect and admiration for Iron Man in my heart. Buzz. At this time I saw Thanos blasting Iron Man away. After activating the power gem, under the shocked eyes of countless people, a huge planet in outer space directly broke apart. The scene was as shocking as 3D, and it directly broke into countless meteorites, and then headed towards Iron Man. See this scene. The hearts of people watching the video are shaking like crazy. The power gap between Iron Man and Thanos is as big as heaven and earth. How to spell? But they thought of the author's words again. Even if he faces the most powerful enemy in history, Iron Man will not hesitate to punch him hard. Yeah. That's right. Iron Man will never give up. Just when people are praying for Iron Man. Countless meteorites crashed to the ground, and Iron Man was inevitably hit by the meteorites and fell heavily to the ground. Then Thanos went directly to Doctor Strange. No matter how powerful his magic is, but facing Thanos with 4 gems, he was still not afraid and knocked him to the ground. Just as Thanos walked towards Doctor Strange. Whoosh, a device immediately flew over and wrapped the Infinity Gauntlet on Thanos' left hand, and then he saw Iron Man landing steadily in front of Thanos. If you hit me with a satellite again, don't blame me for being rude. Wow. When hearing the words of Iron Man. Countless people also became excited. Really, Iron Man will never give up. Even in the face of powerful enemies, even his armor is simply not enough against the powerful force. If you ask him if he will give up, he will definitely not answer, but will tell you with actions that he will never give up. Stark, you know me. Of course, you are not the only one who is cursed by knowledge. My only nightmare is you. Finished. Iron Man fired countless missiles. Then he quickly came to Thanos, took advantage of the nano armor, fixed his feet on the ground, and then transformed his fists into a round shape with a larger area and stronger power. And then with a boost, he fiercely the bombardment hit Thanos' body and slammed him onto the mound. But at this moment Thanos directly punched him away and used the power gem to launch rays containing terrifying energy, which continued to bombard Iron Man's shield. Just when countless people thought that Iron Man would continue to defend. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129. In their eyes of shock and disbelief, Iron Man took the initiative, passed the ray, and then stepped on Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet with his right foot. He used the inertia of the body's twisting and momentum to propel the weapon in his left hand. Attack 1.3 Thanos fiercely and blast away. Boom. The dull sound of impact resounded, and when Iron Man's weapon bombarded Thanos' face, an astonishing wave of impact was created. Then, in the stunned eyes of countless people, Thanos' face used. A drop of blood came out. That's right, a drop of blood. Boom, boom, boom. See this scene point. The hearts of countless people were beating crazily, as if they had been hit by Iron Man's punch. You must know that in the previous video, only Thor caused Thanos to shed blood and behead his head. But what did they see? I saw a man who only used his own technological power, and saw a mortal who could sacrifice himself for others. This guy with 4 infinite gems, who was comparable to a god, shed blood. It's so cool. It's so cool. Comparing with the gods with the power of mortal, Iron Man is indeed worthy of this sentence. Yeah, he doesn't have any magic or abilities. He always relies on his own wisdom to fight against the enemy. He is really respectable. Even when facing Thanos, who has 4 gems, he does not hesitate. Come on. I found that I really admire him. He is made of flesh and blood, with a heart of steel. But he also uses the strength of a mortal to rival the gods. Even if he fails in the end, he has won my respect. This scene was like a critical attack, shocking countless people. They couldn't help but think of the author's words. With a mortal body, he can stand shoulder to shoulder with the gods. This punch is indeed very heavy, but that's it. Thanos wiped away the drop of blood, and with murderous intent in his eyes, he said contemptuously, "Is this all you have?" In an instant, the background music suddenly became dangerous, with a hint of desolation mixed in. Everyone who was excited just now, suddenly, my heart skipped a beat, and I had a bad feeling. Iron Man is in danger. Thanks to readers Dad QQ3104, 15,051, 13,474, for the 100 reward, as well as flower tickets and monthly tickets for all readers and fathers. 85. Iron Man really loves Spider-Man. No. Why do I feel that Thanos has murderous intentions? Hiss. I have a bad feeling. What should I do? Can Iron Man defeat Thanos? Just when Thanos said those words, countless people's hearts trembled. They were all extremely nervous, following the tense music and beating like crazy. Iron Man feels very dangerous. Really, I saw Thanos' left hand suddenly exerting force. The moment he knocked Iron Man to the ground, he waved his fist full of terrifying power and struck him hard. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous, dull crashing sounds resounded through the clouds, and Thanos' all continuously bombarded Iron Man's head. With each punch, the armor immediately dented, and ripples of air erupted in circles. The momentum created was huge. Then, under the distressed eyes of countless people, Thanos lifted Iron Man up, and then used the power gem on the Infinity Gauntlet to blast him violently, sending him flying more than 10 meters away, before falling heavily to the ground. The music continues to be intense, but there is a hint of despair in it. Just like the inner thoughts of countless people, Iron Man is completely unable to fight against Thanos, who possesses 4 gems. Sad, distressed. He is just a human being. Why are you working so hard? Because he feels that he has not done enough. He feels that he can only do his best if he works hard. I really don't want to see him continue to fight. I feel like if this continues, he will really die. I don't want to, but there is no way. Every time he fights very hard. Maybe he still remembers what the captain said in The Illusion. He could have done more, so he feels that only if he fights hard can he. You really tried your best. Look, he's standing up again. His armor is completely broken, but he's still holding on. The hearts of countless people are extremely heavy. They know that Iron Man will not give up. He even felt that only by dying would he be free and relieved. At this time, Iron Man stood up from the ground with difficulty, then half knelt. Now he has lost a lot of nano armor. It can be seen with the naked eye that many places are no longer protected by armor, but he didn't give up. He still keeps fighting. In 09, I saw him mobilizing the energy of the battle armor, continuously releasing laser rays from his hands and the nano battle armor on his body was also being consumed at a speed visible to the naked eye, making countless people feel extremely heavy in their hearts, as the entire space vibrated with ripples due to the laser rays, and a clear space buzz sounded. But all the light was blocked by Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet. Then Thanos was seen slowly moving forward and coming to Iron Man. And his armor was destroyed again, leaving almost only a little bit. At this time the music suddenly changed from gentle to fast, as if it suddenly fell off a cliff, making countless people's hearts skip a beat. Then I saw Iron Man condense the nano armor on his left hand into a sharp blade on his right hand. The moment he wanted to stab Thanos, it was snatched away and stabbed into his abdomen. The sound of a sharp blade passing through the abdomen sounded. It's like stabbing into the hearts of countless people. Incomparable pain and despair. It was just as they imagined. Iron Man will not give up, so he will continue to fight at the moment before death. I saw Iron Man continuously retreating backwards and sitting on the mound. His face was full of unwillingness and pain. Blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Although he still wanted to fight, it was no longer possible. I respect you, Stark, Thanos said softly. Just like what countless people think in their hearts. Yes, Iron Man has proven to countless people with practical actions that he is not only a person who can sacrifice himself for others, but also a superhero who can rival gods with his mortal power. He worthy of everyone's respect. Really, he really deserves everyone's respect. If it weren't for this video, I might have thought he was an arrogant and selfish person, but I was wrong. I was very wrong. Yes, in our eyes, he really tried his best, but he always thought that he should be able to do more. So in every battle, he fought with all his life against the enemy. Confrontation. Even if he knows how big the gap is between him and the enemy, will he give up? No. That's why he deserves our respect. Thanos says they respect him. It shows that even Thanos respects him for what he has done. He is obviously just a flesh and blood man, but he goes further and does more than others think. Yeah. Why is Tony Stark sending like this? I'm not willing to accept it. I'm not willing to accept it. He is really too tired. Perhaps death is his only destination, and he can truly rest. Countless people were in awe. They know that maybe Tony Stark can truly rest after he dies. He is really too tired. So tired that even Thanos respects him. Only seen in the video. After Thanos said this, as if making a promise to him, he continued, after I succeed, half of humanity will still survive. I hope they can remember you. Finished. The music gradually becomes sad and desolate. Thanos also slowly raised his left hand wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. Just when countless people thought that Thanos would kill Tony Stark just like this, a familiar voice, like a glimmer of light in the darkness, brought hope to countless people, and also brought hope to Tony Stark. Stop. At this time the camera follows the source of the sound. When the figure of Doctor Strange came into people's eyes, countless people's faces showed excitement. I saw him take out the time stone and give it to Thanos. Really, they guessed right. Doctor Strange handed over the time stone just to save Tony Stark. Stark is not dead. Stark is not dead. I knew it. I knew Doctor Strange used the time stone in exchange for Stark's life. Hiss. Doesn't that mean that among the 14 million endings, the only one that wins is because of Iron Man, not Captain America? That's right. It's him. With the power of mortal, he can rival the gods. He will definitely succeed. Chapter 130. Countless people just fell into sadness, but the next second everyone's blood boiled. This reversal made their expectations crazy. They vaguely remembered that Thanos also got the gloves in the future battle, and they also knew that he would definitely win in the end, so their curiosity spread crazily. What did Iron Man do to stop Thanos and successfully save the world? They can't wait to know, but at this moment snapped. The familiar sound of snapping fingers suddenly sounded. It caught countless people off guard, just when Iron Man used a special method to treat the wound, and stood up with the help of Spider-Man. Suddenly, changes occurred in the world. Then Mantis, Destroyer, Star-Lord, and Doctor Strange all turned into pieces, and disappeared into the sky. See this scene. Countless people's hearts were trembling like Tony Stark in the video. They saw with their own eyes that the people they had just fought side by side disappeared in front of them. How desperate and painful it was. You know, he had seen this scene in a vision. In order to prevent the illusion from becoming reality, he will fight tooth and nail. As a result, I see this scene now. How can Tony Stark not be hit? However, at this time what he never expected was the little spider Peter Parker on the side called softly, "Mr. Stark, I feel so bad." The moment Tony looked back countless hearts were broken. What they couldn't bear to see the most was Tony watching Spider-Man die. To him, Spider-Man is like a son. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please, I really don't want to die. I saw Spider hugging Tony Stark tightly. The latter comforted the little spider with a trembling voice. Until I saw him die in front of me. Despair, pain. It was like the illusion appeared before his eyes again. He began to blame himself and regret why he failed to stop Thanos. Obviously I can do more. See this scene. The hearts of countless people are also following the music, as if they are immersed in the sea of 10,000 meters. Extremely depressed, however, in the video, Tony Stark closed his eyes tightly, immersed in pain and self-blame. People saw that familiar translucent picture again, just like Tony's memories, playing one scene after another. It's just that it's different from the previous translucent picture. This time it's divided into left and right sides, as if forming a contrast. The music gradually became sad, immersing the hearts of countless people. In the first scene, on the left is the first time Iron Man made a suit. In order to pursue the limit, he flew into the sky, but because of the cold and lack of oxygen, he almost died. On the right, the little spider was outside the spaceship, flying into the sky with it, and fell directly due to lack of oxygen. But at this moment a mask instantly fit on his face and extended into a complete armor, which not only provided oxygen, but also broke through the cold and icy problem, and most importantly, it was also equipped with a parachute. In the second act, on the left is Iron Man falling from a high altitude to the snow. Because the armor has no energy, he can only wear short-sleeved shirts and drag the armor far, far away with his body shaking. On the right, the little spider fell into the water. Because of the positioning system, he was rescued to the shore by the armor sent by Tony Stark. His body was wet, and when he felt cold countless hot air spurted out from the suit, instantly making him feel warm. Saw these two scenes. Countless people felt his feelings for little spider. It is precisely because I have experienced so much pain. That's why I don't want little spider to go through the hardships he has gone through. They can understand that Iron Man cares about little spider, and just then an editing technique emerged that amazed them. I saw that the left and right merged together. There was a scene of Spider-Man and Iron Man communicating together. Peter got into a big trouble. To recap, I told you not to worry about it, but he hacked into a suit worth millions of dollars, so that he could secretly do what I told you not to do behind my back. Is everyone okay? You're not helping anyway. Here. Tony's words. The little spider was very angry. He stood up and retorted, "What do you mean I didn't help? Those weapons have been circulating outside. I've been trying to tell you, but you didn't listen. If you would listen to me, these things wouldn't happen. If you really cared, haha, you will come in person." Little spider was very excited. Even a little disappointed. But what he didn't expect was the steel armor suddenly opened. Tony Stark really comes out of it, instantly scared. See this scene. People who were still immersed in sadness just now laughed a little, but then they became even more uncomfortable, because they can see that Iron Man not only cares about Spider-Man, he is completely like a father. Immediately afterwards, Tony's words made everyone almost shed tears. What if someone dies tonight? That would be different, right? That's your responsibility. If you die, I will feel that it is my responsibility. I don't want to have a bad conscience. 587. Wow. When Tony Stark said these words, countless people had red eyes. It was as if something was holding my throat, and I couldn't say a word. Now they know how important Spider-Man is to Tony Stark. So watching him die in front of me, how much self-blame, how uneasy, how painful, they can't imagine. The translucent screen disappeared. In video. Tony Stark closed his eyes tightly, without saying a word, and the orange light shone on him, like a permanent farewell. Little spider is dead. He must be blaming himself to death. He really loves little spider. It's a pity. Even though he tried his best to protect them, even though he almost died, he still couldn't stop little Spider from dying. Yes, it's such a pity, but just when everyone was sighing, Lin Lan's deep voice sounded, with a hint of rhetorical question and a hint of hope. He once joked that the tone he spoke to Peter Parker was very similar to his father, precisely because he regarded Spider-Man as important as a real son, and he really loved Peter Parker. And when Spider-Man died in front of him, remorse and pain filled his heart. Originally, he could just live his life selfishly and carelessly, but when he knew that there was really a way to save those disappeared people, could he really sit still and not think about these things? Of course I can't sit still. Spider-Man's death is like a knife thrust into his heart. It hurts every time he thinks about it. He has been doing his best to save the world throughout his life, and this time, of course, there is no exception. If you want to ask why we have to do this, then there is only one answer. That's because he is Iron Man and a superhero. Wow. Just when countless people were immersed in sadness and felt sorry for Iron Man, the author's words instantly raised their heads and inspired them. The anticipation is crazy and full. Yes, they vaguely remember traveling back in time to collect gems as shown in the previous video, and Iron Man was definitely involved. It's just that they don't know who made this instrument, but I can vaguely guess that it was made by Iron Man. Only he has this ability, and they also want to know what happened to Iron Man collecting gems. How did that Thanos appear? All the questions are like ants crawling all over the mind, making countless people itchy, and looking forward to the follow-up outrageous move. Thanks to readers Dad QQ8974 and 13,515 for the 1000 reward, 22,509 for the 588 reward, and 18,366 for the 100 reward, and all the readers and ads who voted for monthly and flower tickets. 86. Love you 3000 times. He is more God than God. Hiss. Mr. Stark. Chapter 131. At this moment, Peter Parker, the little spider who was watching the video, hesitated and couldn't say a word. It's not because he doesn't want to say it. It's because he was so excited and moved that he didn't know what to say. If not the video, he had no idea that Mr. Stark would add so many details to the suit he would get in the future. Not only does it have an automatic heating function, a positioning system, a parachute and more. They all joined in based on painful experiences backup group JIUCC just because I don't want him to go through this. To be honest, he was a little flattered, especially when he saw in the barrage someone said that Iron Man really loved him very much. He almost shed tears uncontrollably. He recalled the scene when he was reduced to ashes. Mr. Stark's helpless, self-blaming and guilt-ridden movements and expressions hurt his heart. What virtues and abilities do I have to win his favor? I saw the little spider clenching his fist tightly. His young face seemed to have matured in an instant. He secretly vowed that he must become a person like Tony Stark, responsible and able to sacrifice himself for others. The most important thing is to treat every fight as your last, and try your best, Mr. Stark. I will definitely become someone like you, Peter Parker said in a deep voice, sonorous and powerful. The surrounding Avengers members felt his determination. But Tony Stark shook his head, with infinite expectations in his eyes, and then said to the little spider, I hope you can do better than me, and I believe you can do the same. Finished. Tony's hand patted Peter Parker's shoulder. He knew that little spider's future achievements would definitely be higher than his own. But seeing such an annoying yet lovable little guy die with my own eyes, even watching the video, he felt extremely sad. What's more, what about your future self? Just like what the author said, if there is really a way to bring those dead back, can I really sit back and do nothing and spend this life selfishly? Of course not, Tony Stark's eyes were piercing. He turned his attention to the dimensional platform from the little spider. He is looking forward to the future. What exactly has he experienced that made him make this choice? At this time, countless people in the universe are also looking forward to it. The video continues. Soft, soothing music played. The quiet universe appeared in the picture again. It makes countless people feel calm at this moment. but they feel boundless loneliness and confusion. At this time, a spaceship floats aimlessly. It's like being abandoned. The camera zooms in. Inside the spaceship. When Tony Stark's figure came into people's eyes, there was a mixture of joy and sorrow on their faces. Happy because Tony Stark is still alive. The worry is because he is now so skinny that he might die at any time. Yes, their spaceship has been destroyed, and without Doctor Strange, Iron Man can't return to Earth. Yes, now that he has no food and cannot return to Earth, doesn't he have to die with Nebula? No, a miracle will definitely happen. See this scene. Countless people felt heavy again. After they thought Thanos snapped his fingers, Tony Stark will figure out how to save those people. But they were wrong. Now that Tony Stark can't even go back, how can we talk about salvation? But they believe that there will be a miracle. But just when countless people are looking forward to a miracle, the surrounding space seemed to be shaking with ripples due to huge energy fluctuations. Then I saw the spaceship that was originally pitch black. A beam of light came through. Then people saw Tony Stark's wide eyes and couldn't help but think of the time when he flew into the wormhole and closed his eyes. That time, he was relieved, liberated, and resigned to death. But this time, he saw hope in despair, and his heart was filled with reluctance. The camera slowly turned around. I saw only that beam of light. A figure caught people's eyes. Captain Marvel. That's right. At a critical moment, Captain Marvel appeared to save Tony Stark and Nebula and brought them back to Earth. At the same time, everyone who is watching the video saw that Captain America also appeared in the picture to greet the returning Tony Stark. They couldn't help but think of the previous battle. After the break. Never seen again. And the battles with Thanos were all on different battlefields, so they want to know what exactly happens when the two meet. It is about shaking hands and finding solutions together, or should the road face each other? I couldn't stop him. Me neither. I lost that kid. Just when countless people are looking forward to how Tony Stark will choose. He said this tremblingly. It made countless people's hearts tremble. It was clear that he was almost dying, but he was still blaming himself and feeling guilty. All I have in mind is Peter Parker, the little spider. The scene changes came inside the house. One after another, images of people who died because of this flashed in front of Tony Stark. The background music is very heavy. Just like Tony Stark's heart at this time. When he saw the statistics, he couldn't help but think of what Thanos said to him. Half of humanity will be left on Earth. Self-blame, guilt, powerlessness, anger, all kinds of emotions wrapped around him. Just on the American team, Steve asked him if he had the coordinates of Thanos or anything like that. Tony Stark exploded. I knew all this years ago. I expected it. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just a bad dream, and I told you, we need to arm the world with armor, remember? No matter if it infringes on our precious freedoms. That's what we really need. Just when Tony Stark said these two sentences with a trembling voice, the hearts of countless people also suddenly trembled. They all thought of that illusion again. That's right. The vision that frightened Tony Stark all day long. Ever since he had seen the vision, he had become uneasy. That's why he plans ahead and goes further than others think. And Captain America's pursuit of freedom. What he cares more about is the safety of people around the world. And a certain child who died in front of him. That road won't work in the end. Steve was unable to refute, so he could only state the facts softly. Chapter 132. But Tony Stark never stopped being angry with him, accusing him. I said we would lose, and you said we would face it together even if we lost. What happened, Captain? We lost, but you weren't even there at the time. Is this the only level we have? Can you just be one step slower? Why can you only be an Avenger instead of a preventer? Exclamation mark. Wow. When Tony Stark said these words, countless people, like Steve, were silent. Tony has really endured too much. Start with that very first vision. He has been worried about foreign invasion. Even desperate to arm the world. He thinks further than anyone else. So he is more uneasy than anyone else. Instead of being an Avenger, he wanted to prevent this even more. This is why he works so hard and tries his best to save the world. I didn't expect Tony Stark to still remember that vision. Then wouldn't he spend every day in uneasiness and fear? Tony has really endured too much. He was not here when he needed Captain America the most. He still believed that even if we lose, we must lose together, and he thinks further than others, more than anyone else. Everyone is far away, but no one can understand him. It seems like they are going to go their separate ways. But that's fine. Tony Stark can live a stable life with his wife. That's what I want to see most. Yes, it would be great if Tony Stark could live a stable life and have a baby with his wife so that he can be happy and don't have to live in anxiety and fear. Yes, I really hope so. It's different from previous videos. This time people are hoping that Iron Man can give up all this. It is best to have a child with your wife and then live a stable life. Because he was too tired. Even watching the video, they felt sorry for Tony Stark. So how tired will he be in the future? How painful is it? How unsettling. They can't imagine. At this time when Tony fell straight down. The background music becomes soft and warm, like when the first ray of sunshine in early spring shines through the window and shines on the face that has not yet woken up, making people feel lazy. Then on the screen when a little girl wearing a blue helmet came into everyone's eyes, they all raised their arms and shouted, "Really? Iron Man really lived a stable life just as they thought." Is that little girl Tony's daughter? So cute. Yes. He finally lives a happy life. Please, don't disturb him anymore. Let him rest for a while. Yes, he really needs to rest. I really hope he can stay with his little daughter, but when there is really a way to save him, can he really ignore it? Maybe he really can't sit still. Countless people showed happy smiles one after another when I saw Iron Man finally living a happy life. Their hearts are also warm. However, the appearance of a barrage broke the beautiful illusions of countless people. That's right. Even though Iron Man has now lived a happy and beautiful life. But half of the world's population disappeared in that disaster, including the little spider. So when there is really a way to save it. Will Iron Man ignore him? Maybe. People have an answer in their minds. The background music suddenly changed from soft and warm to quiet, making people feel as if the surrounding air had solidified. Then I saw it. Captain America, Natasha and a sneaky guy. Just like everyone thought. They came up with a vision that could save everyone. But they were ejected one by Tony. After hearing what he said, the guy named Scott was very angry and questioned, "I know you have a lot of concerns. You have a wife and a daughter, but I have also lost people who are very important to me, and many people are like me, but now there is a way to bring them back, and you actually said you are not willing." That's right, Scott, I don't want to. Wow. When Tony said this, countless people in the universe didn't condemn Tony the way Scott did in the video. Instead, they all raised their arms and shouted, approving what he did. "You bastard. You have a wife and a daughter. What else do I care about you?" That's right. Get out of this moral kidnapping thing. He's tired enough. He's living a happy life now, and why are you bothering him? Get out of here. That's right. Why should we let him save the world again? He has already done enough. Countless people have complained about Tony Stark. It was not easy to get this hard-won happiness and peaceful life. So now you're using moral kidnapping to get me to help you. Feel sorry. Those who refuse are so decisive. But at this moment Lin Lan's low and sighing voice sounded when he knew there was a way to bring those dead back. He refused very cleanly on the surface, but even after 5 years, when he saw that child's face, he still softened. His wife tried countless times to get him not to take the risk, but she never succeeded. This time, of course, there will be no exception. Ding. When Lin Lan's voice sounded. Countless people's hearts trembled, their faces were solemn, and they all sighed. Sure enough, Iron Man cannot live as happily as they thought. Maybe this is also the charm of his personality, although he says he doesn't want to save the world. But when disaster strikes, he has to do more than anyone else. Although he said he had a wife and daughter, but when he knew he could save these people, he was still willing to risk everything he had. Damn. I knew Iron Man couldn't just sit idly by. Maybe this is Iron Man. He is obviously just a mortal, but he is more like a god than a god. In my heart, he is really my favorite superhero. Yes, I feel really sad when I look at him. Countless People felt sorry for Tony. Especially when Tony is washing dishes in the video. They saw Tony staring blankly at the photo with Spide. Really. Even after all these years the little spider was like a knife stuck in his heart. It would sting his heart every time he thought of it. Then I saw Iron Man saying that he didn't believe that this technology could be realized. It was successfully created secretly. See this scene. Countless people choked. They know that this man is going to save the world again. The music sounded sad and desolate, like a farewell sound. I saw only the bedroom. Tony Stark kissed his daughter on the forehead and said lovingly, "I love you 1,000 times. Then, I love you 3,000 times. Oh my god, 3,000 times. That's a really big number, daughter," Morgan said with a smile. This sentence was like a critical blow, hitting Tony's heart, and also hitting the hearts of countless people watching the video, filled with happiness and warmth. "Please, for the sake of your daughter, please don't save them. Yes, I love you 3,000 times. Do you really have the heart to leave your daughter to save the world? Don't go, okay?" Countless people are praying. Although they knew that they could not change Tony's choice at all. But this is also what they think in their hearts. "I have a wife and a daughter. You can obviously spend this life selfishly. Why should we save the world?" Perhaps it's because, in addition to being a husband and a father, he also has an identity, that is, Iron Man. At a time when countless people's hearts are extremely heavy. The video continues. "You know we are lucky. A lot of people aren't that lucky." Tony walked out of the room. Chapter 133. Talk to Pepper about time travel. Here the words Pepper reminds him that life now is hard to come by. And how could Tony Stark not know? So he showed that look again, saying he would not help, but in fact he was suffering in his heart. "I can't help everyone. I can just stop here and stop thinking about it. Tony, I advise you to stop. I guess you won't be able to do it in this life. Lee." NUOs. When Peepo said these words countless people's eyes were red. Because isn't this sentence a perfect portrayal of Tony Stark? "I'm always restless, always working hard, and never know how to rest. Even though I have a happy life, I still blame myself and feel guilty." Yes, I'm afraid Tony Stark will never stop in this life. This time, of course, is no exception. He said he wouldn't help, but it happened anyway. "I may love you 5,000 times. More than your daughter. Then, I will love him 10,000 times. Really, he has surpassed gods in my heart." Yes, how can he match the gods with the power of a mortal? He has clearly surpassed the gods with the power of mortal. Really, I really hope he can have a good ending, just like Captain America, and be able to spend his life with the one he loves. Yes, he can definitely do it. Yes, don't we already know that we will win in the end? So he will definitely succeed. Countless people started to get angry again. Since I can't see Tony Stark living happily. Then wish him in my heart that he can successfully win this battle. At this time. The background music gradually gets louder. Countless people also feel excited. Only seen in the screen. The orange afterglow shines through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. The A-shaped logo of the Avengers is as shocking as 3D. Then in the excited and expectant eyes of countless people. The members of the Avengers, wearing special white uniforms, appeared from the left and walked out slowly, accompanied by grand and majestic background music. People's breathing was quickening, their blood was boiling, and goosebumps were rising all over their bodies. See this scene. They couldn't help but feel awe in their hearts. This is the Avengers bar. This is a superhero who does not succumb to fate, but goes against fate. Salute to the hero. Salute to Iron Man. They are looking forward to seeing what happens when Iron Man returns to the past. Can the final ending be as satisfying as Captain America? Their sense of anticipation was once again filled at this moment. Thanks to Reader Dad 18,348 for the 100 reward, and all the readers and ads who voted for monthly and flower tickets. 87. You can always trust Iron Man. I knew Iron Man would help them. As my wife said, I can never persuade him to stop. Yes, maybe as long as he is not dead, he will never be able to rest peacefully, but this is also what he wants to do. We should respect his choice. We can just see how they collect gems. Yes, we can only respect Iron Man. He should have returned to the past now. but we have not seen him in other videos. But I have already guessed that the black figure must be Iron Man. Ah. You talking about the one who was knocked away by the Hulk? Hiss. When you put it like that, they really look alike. But wasn't the cosmic cube taken away by Loki? And the particles that Scott mentioned before don't seem to be enough, right? You are absolutely right. But have you forgotten who was the person who turned things around every time? It was Iron Man. He threw himself into the wormhole alone in the New York battle and won the Ultron battle with wisdom. This time, he will definitely be able to reverse the situation. Kyankan. You can always trust him. Boom. After the Avengers members entered the instrument point, countless people are discussing what will happen to Iron Man point, so they all guessed that the black figure that appeared in the previous video must be Iron Man. But the problem is that the cosmic cube was taken away by Loki point. Just when people are worried point, a barrage caused an uproar on the dimensional platform like a bombshell. That's right, many times it was Iron Man who saved the day. This time is certainly no exception. You can always trust Iron Man. In an instant point, the expectations of countless people are full at this moment point. My heart was pounding point, shortness of breath, dilated pupils, staring at the screen. They want to know how Iron Man can reverse this situation. Video continues. The music immediately changed from the grand, majestic, and soul-stirring sound to an urgent one. The scene of Loki leaving with the cosmic cube flashed across the screen again. Point, the camera zoomed in. Point, the black figure who was knocked to the ground by the Hulk finally showed his face. It's Iron Man. Wow. Countless people were so excited that they could hardly speak. Point, it was exactly what they thought. Point, the one who came to take away the Mind Stone scepter was Captain America, and the one who took away the cosmic cube was Iron Man. Sure enough, I knew it was Iron Man. He came here to look for the cosmic cube. Hiss. You can always trust Iron Man. He will definitely be able to reverse this situation. He will definitely be able to obtain the cosmic cube again. Yes. It's enough to believe in Iron Man. The screen turned 590 when Captain America jumped down from above with the Mind Scepter. I saw Iron Man and Scott sitting in an abandoned car, calling out in annoyance, "Captain, I'm sorry, we are in trouble." After some conversation point, Captain America learned that the Tesseract was missing point, and Scott's talkative nature is no worse than Spider-Man point. Keep repeating yourself point, because Stark said that they only have this one chance, and if they don't get it together, it's all over. The atmosphere gradually became solid and sad point. Even the music sounded with a hint of despair, but the people watching the video are not worried at all point, because they know that Iron Man must have a way. Is there any other way to get the cosmic cube? At this time point, Captain America asked the question everyone wanted to ask. I saw Scott responding very annoyed. No more. There is no other way. There is no chance of another chance. Each of us only has one tube of particles. That's all. Understand? I know. There is another way. You can get the cosmic cube and add new particles. Take a few more steps down the memory lane. New Jersey military base. At this time point, the music is on. It was like walking from darkness into light, giving everyone a sense of clarity and clarity. Their sense of anticipation was heightened at this moment point. It's exactly what they thought. Iron Man is the one who can turn this around. But they are also curious. How can they obtain the cosmic cube and add new particles at the same time? Video continues. When Iron Man said these words, Captain America had to think hard point. But it's amazing point. He didn't think much point. I just asked a question. Are you sure those two things were there at the time? I'm sure, and I know why I know it. Iron Man said decisively point. Hear the words. What did Captain America choose? Chapter 134. Of course I chose to believe in Iron Man. Just like anyone watching the video, you can always trust Iron Man. So when Scott looked confused and kept asking questions, the two of them spoke as if they were immersed in their own world. Looks like I'll have to improvise a bit. Okay, get ready to go. Captain America gave Scott the Mind Scepter and asked him to take it back first point, then adjust the time instrument at the same time as Iron Man point. Get ready to time travel again. 0407 1970. Are you sure, Captain America reconfirmed. Point under everyone's moved gazes. Iron Man's face was still full of seriousness and confidence, and then he asked, "Do you believe me? Do you believe me?" This sentence point it seems to span the entire Iron Man's life. From the beginning, he was disbelieved by countless people and went through countless hardships to become a superhero. Even in the end, when Captain America got away to save the world, he was the first one to find it. Why? That's because you can always trust Iron Man. I believe. When Captain America said these words sonorously and forcefully. Point there was a soft piano sound in the background. Point not only does it represent the two of them truly burying the hatchet, it also means that Captain America has changed from distrusting his ability to become a superhero at the beginning to completely believing in Iron Man. Because as Scott said, if they fail, they can never come back. Point. But what is Captain America's choice? The only sentence without any doubt. I believe. See the scene. Point transit group. Area code 3717. Area code 29119. Countless people shed tears. Every chord sounded. Point it was as if their heartstrings were plucked, trembling faintly. Point. While they were sad for Iron Man, they were also proud, so they all raised their heads and looked at the screen. While praying in their hearts, they also looked forward to whether they could get the Rubik's Cube and particles. Video continues. The two came directly to the New Jersey military base in 1970. Point this is not where Captain America was born. Point but this is where the idea of creating super soldiers was born. Point then the two of them split up. Point Tony Stark is responsible for finding the Tesseract, while Steve is looking for the Pym particles. Point soon. Point Tony Stark came to a long corridor. Although it is a corridor, but placed on both sides, there are experimental instruments everywhere. Point Tony Stark also ran and looked for the cosmic cube with his glasses. When the music suddenly starts, people also saw a huge instrument, and the rays released were very consistent with the cosmic Rubik's cube. Click. Tony Stark said nothing. Point directly use the steel gloves ray to cut it off and take out the cosmic Rubik's cube. Point. But at this moment. Point the background music suddenly becomes tight, and there is a sense of crisis. The hearts of countless people jumped into their throats instantly. Point then I heard someone shouting, "Arnim, are you here? Arnim." Oops. The first reaction of those who are watching the video is that Iron Man has been discovered. Know that this is their second chance. If it doesn't work, then it's really over. Bang bang bang. Point countless people's little hearts were beating hard. They swallowed hard and stared at the screen with rapid breathing. Point the moment Tony Stark closed the box, everyone saw clearly who the figure was. It is Tony Stark's father, Howard. Wow. See the scene. Point countless people's faces were full of excitement. They are crazy looking forward to what will happen when Tony Stark meets his father. They still remember that the little fat man burst into tears when he saw his mother. Would Tony Stark be like that? They are looking forward to it. They are curious. The music became softer. It's like meeting again after a long absence, which makes people feel excited and at the same time not easy. Point just when people thought Tony Stark would be like Thor, he would act like a child in front of his father. What they didn't expect was Tony Stark turned around and prepared to escape. Yes, he panicked. Point there was a time when he thought his father didn't care about him. Point but now he knows that he is his father's greatest creation. At this time. Point the background music gradually becomes sad, as if recalling past events. The moment Tony Stark turned around, the translucent picture appeared again. Point he would never accept anything offered to him by others. Even if his beloved handed it to him, he would still accept it reluctantly. Point. And when he was near death. Point I saw the video left by my father. Tony, you are too young to understand now, so I will take this video for you first. All of this is made for you. One day you will understand that this represents not only human inventions, but also my invention. A lifetime of achievement. Only you will change the world, but my greatest creation will always be you. When this sentence falls, the scene flashes back to Tony's youth, unwilling to say goodbye to his departing father. Who knows, this farewell will be forever. The camera zooms in. Point Tony choked. Point the expression on his face has changed from the unhappy and grievance-filled expression when he was young to the sad and unbelievable expression now. The translucent screen disappears along with the video. See the scene. Point countless people seem to Already no point Tony and his father didn't have a good relationship point and a long period of misunderstanding point, but now he knows that his father cares about him. Video continues when Tony Stark turned around and was about to run away. Unwilling to face his father, Howard stopped him. The door is this way, friend. Here. The words Tony Stark was very nervous, stumbling while walking point, even shaking hands with Howard point. His face was extremely red point. See this scene point. Countless people smiled point. They hope Tony Stark can have a good chat with his father. The result was something they didn't expect point. Tony Stark was so nervous that when he left, he didn't even take the cosmic cube with him point. It was his father who reminded him that he remembered. Hahaha. I just thought Tony wouldn't be like Thor, but he is still as nervous as a child. He even forgot to pick up the cosmic cube. It's so fun, yeah, but it's really complete. I watched my father being killed before, and now I can chat with my father. I really have no regrets. That's right. Tony should have misunderstood his father before. This time, he should have completely solved the knot. Chapter 135. Just when countless people were moved point, Tony Stark and his father also walked slowly outside point. They talked a lot point. Even while on the elevator, Howard also mentioned his wife's pregnancy to Tony. At this moment, Howard handed the flowers in his hand to Tony and asked him to help take them point. Countless people thought Tony would refuse because he didn't like taking things from others, but to their shock and surprise point, Tony actually picked up and he still caught the bouquet of flowers without any hesitation, willingly and without any complaints. Boom. Countless people's hearts are beating loudly. His face was full of shock and disbelief. Good guy point. He actually answered it. Touching and beautiful point, especially when Howard said, although the child has not been born yet, I can do anything for him. In the lens there was the scene where Tony hugged his father tightly. One can't help but recall what Morgan told him. Love him 3,000 times. It's just that this strong man can't express his love for his father. He can only say, thank you for everything. Yes. After Tony finished saying this, there was a relieved and comfortable smile on his face point. He successfully untied the knot in his heart, hugged his father successfully, and said thank you to his father. The regret in his heart was finally made up for. So he and Captain America left here point. At this time point, the background music gradually became intense, and there seemed to be the sound of thousands of troops fighting. The sound of bells and drums made the hearts of everyone watching the video beat crazily. They felt their blood boiling. Every pore suddenly opened, and their sense of anticipation was filled at this moment, because they know that the final battle is coming. Video continues. There's that moment when the Hulk snaps his fingers. Then the extremely silky transition appears again. The moment the Hulk slowly raised his right arm and prepared to snap his fingers, it turned into Thanos slowly raising his right arm and stuffing the Power Stone back. Boom, boom, boom. Countless people's hearts jumped into their throats at this moment point. They remember that in the last video, Thanos took off the Power Stone and knocked Captain Marvel away, and now all the gems are gathered together again point. Is he going to successfully snap his fingers for the second time? Nervous, praying point. Countless people's nerves were tense point. Stare at the screen point. The result is here point. They saw Doctor Strange raise that finger again point. When the camera turned from this finger to Iron Man lying on the ground in the distance point, the music suddenly became intense, and it was like the feeling of a hero appearing in despair, giving hope. Suddenly the whole universe was boiling. Transit skirt. 7-11 year due. It's on fire. It's exactly what countless people imagined. The one who reverses everything, the one who saves everything, the only one who wins among the 14 million endings, is Iron Man. I knew it. I knew I could always trust Iron Man. He can turn everything around every time. With a mortal body, he can compete with the gods. He even surpasses the gods. You can always trust Iron Man. I believe he can definitely save everything. Countless people are looking forward to it crazily point. They all held their breath and concentrated, not daring to take a breath point, staring at Iron Man on the screen. He wanted to know crazily how this mortal, who surpassed the gods, could reverse all of this. The last time he fought Thanos with the 4 stones he almost died point. This time facing Thanos with 6 gems. What should he do? What will he do? Point 88. Iron Man snapped his fingers and the whole universe boiled. Hiss. Sure enough, what I exchanged for the time stone was really his life. and the only one that was successful among the 14 million endings was also because of him. At this time point Kamatage point a surprised voice sounded. Doctor Strange sat across from Ancient One point his face was full of shock point. If he had been told that in the future he would exchange the time stone for Iron Man's life and place his hope on Iron Man, he would never believe it point. But after watching every bit of Iron Man point, even though he is as arrogant as Iron Man point, I have to admit it point Iron Man really deserves to do this. Strange, you have been looking at the world from the whole. Although there are still some flaws, it can be seen that you have grown somewhat, the Ancient One Master said to Strange, as if he were his own child point. Just like Strange pinned all his hopes on Iron Man point, he also pinned all his hopes on Strange point. This way you can leave safely. It's just that he is still a little worried that Strange's soul will be corrupted by the Dark Book, so now he can't leave with peace of mind. If this is a compliment, then I accept it, but even so, I can't think of how he could turn this around. Doctor Strange shrugged point. Let him think whatever he wants. Everyone feels that Iron Man cannot be reversed. After all, Thanos nearly died when faced with 4 gems, and his future self was able to save him at the cost of exchanging gems. So what's more, Thanos who has 6 gems. Strange, don't forget, Iron Man is a person who plans for a rainy day. He sees any situation more clearly than you, Master. Guyi smiled calmly point, although the method of reversal was not stated point, but suddenly I got through to Strange. Prepare for a rainy day, etc. Could it be? Sterance's eyes were fixed on Thanos' right hand point. That gauntlet is not the Infinity Gauntlet, but made by Iron Man. At this moment, a crazy idea sprouted in Strange's mind. Could it be that Iron Man had actually planned ahead and designed a function that could remove the 6 gems? Hiss. Strange gasped point. My heart is beating like crazy. The sense of anticipation was overwhelming at this moment, and I really wanted to know if it was what he thought. Shit, it's really me who changed everything and decided this victory. Now point when Tony Stark saw Doctor Strange holding up that finger to his future self point, his face was full of shock and disbelief point. He couldn't imagine it point among the 14 million endings. This only victory was because of myself. This is a good explanation point. Why did Doctor Strange trade the time stone for his life? Because Doctor Strange is in that triumphant ending point. Seeing myself saving all this, the little spider on the side was also in high spirits. He looked at Tony Stark very excitedly and roared, as if he saw his idol winning. Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. It's really you, not just little spiders. Everyone on the side also felt excited. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. They really want to know how Tony Stark can reverse all this. This is what countless people in the universe want to know. Last time he faced Thanos with 4 gems and was not afraid. This time even if Thanos has 6 gems, he will stand up like Thor. Yes, even if I didn't succeed in stopping it last time, I believe I can definitely stop it this time. It's burning. It's burning. I want to know how he stopped it. Just when countless people are filled with crazy expectations, the background music was also full of a sense of crisis, and fierce and high-pitched voices sounded point make countless people feel excited. Crazy to know how Iron Man can reverse all this. That's Thanos with 6 gems. At this time point video continues. When Thanos stuffed the power stone back into his glove point, suddenly countless terrifying energies seemed to flow through his limbs and bones, showing those gorgeous and colorful energy lines. But at this moment point sudden, the background music suddenly became tight, making countless people's nerves tense. It's like something unexpected happened. Then I saw Iron Man rushing forward. He grabbed the glove with both hands and kept pulling it outwards. Bang, bang, bang. The dull sound of impact resounded, and Thanos' left fist and he continued to bombard Iron Man. Every time a punch or knee hit his body, terrifying ripples of air erupted, directly blowing him away. Go out. The background music began to become more terrifying, making countless people's skin crawl. Then I saw the corners of Thanos' mouth rising slightly. Showing a winner's smile. And he made a gesture of preparing to snap his fingers. Sadness, despair, doubt. All kinds of negative emotions fill the hearts of countless people. Obviously just now they were expecting Iron Man to reverse all this, but they didn't even see how Iron Man was reversed. Damn. I can't pull this glove out at all. Iron Man still failed. Yeah, with his mortal body, he couldn't withstand Thanos' punches, and he was knocked away in one fell swoop. It's over. It's over. It's over. Is Thanos about to snap his fingers for the second time? People watching the video choked up. There was an indescribable feeling of frustration in my heart. They thought that a miracle would really happen, but although Iron Man withstood several punches from Thanos, he still failed to take off his gloves, like he did when he fought Thanos on Titan. Just when Thanos said the words "I'm destiny," countless people showed expressions of despair, and I'm ready to accept the tragic side of half the people being reduced to ashes again. But most of them closed their eyes in disappointment. Snapped. A crisp finger snap sounded. The background music stopped abruptly at this point. Countless people with their eyes closed heard this voice. My heart suddenly trembled. Then they all sighed, disappointed, and even despaired. But after a while they noticed something was wrong. It feels like the video is frozen and there is no sound at all. Then they all raised their heads when they saw Thanos' expression full of astonishment and disbelief. They also became confused. Why is this finger snap useless? However, at this moment, the camera zooms in. When they saw that the 6 holes on Thanos' gloves were empty, they all gasped. My heart was beating like a huge wave, and it started beating suddenly. They couldn't believe it. The gem was missing. Holy crap. I'll tell you why snapping your fingers doesn't work. It turns out the gem is missing. Hiss. Why is the gem missing? Wait. Could it be? Oh. My god. 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 Could it be that? What are you talking about? You guys are so anxious to kill me. Could it be that it was taken away by Iron Man? Boom. When this barrage appeared on the dimensional platform, suddenly it was like a bomb exploding in the minds and hearts of countless people. I saw countless people's pupils dilating rapidly, staring at the screen with bated breath, swallowing hard, and their anticipation crazily climbed to the top. At this time the camera slowly moved from the gloves to the opposite side when the 6 infinity stones bloomed with brilliant light and appeared on Iron Man's right hand. The entire universe boiled. It was so boiling that it exploded. At this moment, extremely grand, majestic and exciting music sounded. It made countless people jump up from their seats, raise their arms crazily and shout, their blood boiling. Sure enough, I knew he had taken it away. Holy, oh, he really took it away. Sure enough, he can turn the situation around. You can always believe in Iron Man. Hiss. He took the Infinity Stones when he was fighting Thanos. He really did it. At this moment countless people were breathing rapidly. Every pore on their bodies was expanding, and they looked extremely excited. Sure enough, as they thought before, this guy who is more like a god than a god will definitely be able to turn the situation around. Just like always, turn the tide, with the power of mortals, surpass the gods. At this time in the screen when the 6 infinity stones were finally embedded in Iron Man's right hand buzz. The space made a crisp buzzing sound. I saw the infinite gems containing the energy of destroying the world blooming with countless streams of light, continuously wrapping around Iron Man's body along his right arm, and heard the sound of steel breaking due to being unable to withstand the energy, like a knife cutting countless people. There was a cramping pain in my heart. See this scene the excited faces of countless people froze instantly. The background music suddenly becomes sad desolate tragic just like a hero sacrificing himself to save the common people. It finally comes to an end. Silence. Speechless. They seem to realize it. It looks like Iron Man is going to snap this finger himself. But even with a body like the Hulk, an entire arm was lost with just a snap of his fingers. What about him who is just a mortal? Wait. If I remember correctly, the Hulk almost lost one of his arms when he snapped his fingers. What about him? Yes, he is just a mortal. If he snaps his fingers, he will definitely die. Didn't he tell Captain America that he had a wife and daughter, so he wouldn't fight to the death? Why? Why did he take the gem resolutely? Why should he fight to the death again? Why? Zero ask for flowers. Yes, didn't you agree that your daughter has loved you 3,000 times and you can't bear to abandon her? Don't snap your fingers. Sadness, despair, tears burst out from countless people. They vaguely remembered that Iron Man once said, when he joined the battle, that he would no longer fight for his life because he has a wife who keeps trying to persuade him to stop, and because he has a daughter who loves him 3,000 times. But, before the war started, he has already designed his armor to be inlaid with 6 Infinity Stones when Thanos captured the gauntlet. He still snatched the gem resolutely. Didn't you say you won't go to great lengths? Exclamation mark. Chapter 137. It's agreed. You obey it. Countless people's tears flowed down their faces crazily, and their hearts felt like there was a meteorite pressing on them. They were extremely depressed, desperate, and painful. In this life, he is just an ordinary mortal. He doesn't have the steely bodies of Captain America and Thor, nor does he have the invincible Hulk hidden inside him. But he works tirelessly to protect the world. When he flew into the wormhole alone, he was a mortal. When he carried the meteorite alone, he was a mortal. When he faced Thanos alone with 4 Infinity Stones, he was a mortal. When he took the 6 Infinity Stones from Thanos' hands, he was still a mortal. All the things he did were played out in the minds of countless people one by one, tingling the nerves of countless people and feeling what it means to feel like their hearts are being cut by a knife. Zero, he is obviously just a mortal, but he is as good as a god, more like a god than a god, and has done more than a god. Whoops. Countless people took a deep breath. Eyes red. It's like looking at a hero for the last time. Only seen in the video. Iron Man raised his right hand high. The light from the 6 Infinity Stones seemed to shine through the screen, stinging the eyes. Then I heard him say in a trembling voice, "I am Iron Man." Snapped. When Iron Man said these words, a snap of fingers resounded through the sky, and the screen also turned into a white. That snap of fingers was like a giant hammer hitting everyone's heart. I closed my eyes tightly, tears kept flowing down, and I was so choked that I couldn't say a word. They can already predict the ending of Iron Man. The white screen disappeared. All enemies, including Thanos, turned into countless ashes and disappeared into the sky. As for Iron Man himself, his back was leaning against the ruins, and the right half of his body seemed to have been burned by fire. It was full of wrinkles, which was extremely distressing. See this scene. All the superheroes in the video and everyone watching the video were in tears. It was exactly what they thought. In order to save the world, Iron Man sacrificed himself. You can rest now. And when people said these words, it's like a knife piercing everyone's heart, just like they thought before. Iron Man works tirelessly to protect the world. Perhaps only when he dies can he truly rest peacefully. Why him? Why can't he think about himself once and live selfishly? Yes, why? Why should I sacrifice myself for the world? Obviously, he is the person who is least believed to sacrifice himself for others, but he fights every time. But after having a happy family, he resolutely sacrifices himself. He is a mortal, but in my heart, he transcends God. He is made of flesh and blood, with a heart of steel. But he also uses the power of mortal to rival gods. Salute to Iron Man. Salute to superheroes. Transit. Group 371,729,119. Salute to the Iron Man, who can always be trusted in the universe. Countless people paid tribute to Iron Man. Pay tribute to this superhero who has been doubted by countless people, but continues to prove himself with actions. Start with the words "I'm Iron Man." Start your own superhero life. With these words, he snapped his fingers and ended his superhero life. He, Iron Man, worthy of the title of superhero. The video continues. They knew that this battle was finally coming to an end, but they were immersed in sadness and couldn't extricate themselves for a long time. P.S. To elaborate, I made it very clear in my acceptance speech This ranking is the ranking in my mind, and this is a superhero ranking, not a combat power ranking. It's not just about competing for superiority. What's more, I like to take it step by step and try my best to make this book beautiful. By the way, the subsequent rankings are not the villain rankings you think, thanks to readers at 15,168 and 18,714 for their 100 tips. Factory 89. Iron Man's funeral. Choose 2 out of 3 rewards. Silent and dignified point after Iron Man snaps his fingers. Asgard, known as the realm of gods, was silent point. Their faces were full of traces of tears, and they stared blankly at the screen. Their hearts felt like a tsunami that would never stop, overwhelmingly rushing towards their hearts. Every beat made them suddenly sad. He is just a mortal, but he can be so great. Perhaps, as some people say, he is more like God than God, and he has done more than God. Yeah, if it were me, I might not even have the courage to snap my fingers. Even the Hulk's terrifying body was so terrible that one of his arms was crippled, and he almost died. We are not much better. But Iron Man, not only was he prepared early, but he also snapped his fingers without hesitation. He really gained my respect. Yes, he has gained the respect of our divine domain, and even the respect of our Father of Gods. When this sentence is spoken, all the gods looked above the throne. I saw Odin's face trembling. Pupils dilate dramatically. Although I didn't see him shed any tears, but the gods know it. As a mortal, Iron Man's actions deeply touched Odin and gained his respect. Boom. Just when the gods were immersed in sorrow. Odin, who was sitting on the throne, stood up and slammed the eternal spear in his hand on the ground. With a dull sound, the entire Asgard suddenly seemed to be filled with mourning sounds, and even the entire god's domain was filled with mourning. They fell into a brief darkness, which reminded them of the Queen's funeral they saw in the video. 590 Father, is he mourning for Iron Man? A mortal is actually worthy of doing this. But it seems that it is indeed worth it. Seeing this scene, Loki's eyes trembled. Although he looked down upon mortals very much. But after watching the Iron Man video. I have to admit that some mortals really make mistakes. I can't help but respect him. It's not just him. Novel questions group umbrella Kiki Jiu Thor on the side also clenched his fists tightly. He also quarreled with Tony Stark before. But after seeing these videos he felt even more guilty. Things that I failed to accomplish. Tony Stark helped himself through. And the price was his life. He deserves everyone's respect. People will remember his name. Thor said this in a low voice. It seems to be echoing what Thanos said to Iron Man on Titan. So he turned his attention to the dimensional platform again. I want to see the hero leave in person. The other side. Wakanda. After watching the ending of the final battle. Tony Stark took a few steps back. You can see his face trembling. Obviously, he couldn't believe that in the future, he would actually snap his fingers. Ming Ming's own daughter said she loves herself 3,000 times. Obviously I can be selfish and live this happy life, but think for a moment. Tony Stark seems to understand why he does what he does, because he is Iron Man. When wearing this armor he already understood the hero's mission. Until his final death, he had been doing what a hero should do, but he still had regrets in his heart. I can no longer accompany my daughter to grow up, so he shifted his attention to the dimensional platform, hoping to see his daughter's lovely face again, just when countless people are sad and heartbroken. Chapter 138. The video continues when Iron Man dies. Spider-Man returned to high school to continue his classes. Hawkeye was finally reunited with his family. Ant-Man Scott also sat with his wife and daughter watching the fireworks in the night sky. Chala, with his sister and mother, stood on the balcony and looked at the hard One Piece. The scene changes arriving at Iron Man Tony Stark's cabin. I saw Pepper, Morgan, and their friends Rhodes and Happy standing here. Let's watch the holographic projection that Tony recorded before setting off. So, I think I should record these in advance to avoid my unfortunate death. To me, death is not an unexpected thing. The time travel we are going to do tomorrow really makes me worry about whether I can survive in the end, but this is the mission of a hero. After glory, it will eventually come to an end. Hey, why should I bother myself? Everything has its own way. Projecting point. Tony expressed his concerns, and he also expected that he might die. Point. But he didn't say much like last words either, because he knew that death was not an accident to him. Point. He could die at any time. Point. There was no need to worry anymore. Point. Instead, he stood up, paused, and seemed to know that Morgan and Pepper would see the video, so he said those words with love, and as if saying goodbye. I love you 3,000 times. See this scene. Point. Countless people understand it. Point. Turn out to be, it wasn't like Tony was already planning for a rainy day when he made that glove. Point. But before setting off, he had already guessed that he would die. Point. Although this paragraph is not yet a last word. Point. But when the sentence "I love you 3,000 times" is said. Point. Countless people's hearts trembled. Point. They are all very sorry. It is a pity that Tony cannot accompany his daughter to grow up at this time. Point. Sad, melodious music plays. It was like saying goodbye to a hero, which made countless people feel heavy in their hearts. If it were before, people watching the video would definitely feel very desperate. Point. But after watching the video. Point. People are more regretful and happy. It's a pity that Iron Man finally has a happy family, but there is a gap between yin and yang. Point. Fortunately, Iron Man can finally rest. He is really too tired. At the same time. Point. In the screen. Point. One after another, dressed in black, solemnly attended Iron Man's funeral. Point. Although compared to Queen Frigga's the scene was much smaller, and there weren't even many people. Point. But the people watching the video know. Point. This scene was bigger than Queen Frigga's funeral. As for why? Because these people standing here are all superheroes. He is a superhero who constantly fights for the world. He also respects, worships and commemorates the superhero who rivaled the gods with his mortal power. I saw Peepo holding a bunch of flowers in his hand. Point. And the one in the middle is a reactor. In the moved eyes of countless people, a line of words caught their eyes. Tony Stark has a warm heart. Yes, although he relies on the cold reactor to maintain his heart. Point. He is, just as this sentence says, his heart is always warm and sincere, and he is always for others. When this cluster of flowers continues to float along the river, people who were watching the video shed tears again. Point. Because this time, a generation of superheroes comes to an end. Salute to the superhero, Iron Man Tony Stark. Salute to the hero. Although it has ended, he will always be in my heart. Have a good journey. You can finally rest in peace. Countless people stood up one after another. It was as if I was also there. Point. Watching the clusters of flowers floating along the river, and at this moment, the ending song plays. A picture is also fixed on this cluster of flowers. That line of text is so clear, and seems to be responding to countless people's doubts about Iron Man from the beginning to the end. The Iron Man chapter is officially over when Lin Lan's voice sounded. Point. Countless people reacted from their days. Point. Now everything they wanted to know, they already knew. Point. But just like watching a movie. Point. Even after the movie is over, I still feel unfinished, even empty, in the entire universe at this time. Point. There is no more loud noise. Point. They all seem to be immersed in this sadness, and could not calm down for a long time. Hey, it's over. They finally won, but I still want to see them fight together. As Iron Man said, the glory of heroes will eventually come to an end. Captain America got old and gave his shield to Sam. Iron Man also died. As for the fat Thor, he seemed to have run away with Star-Lord and the others. I don't know what will happen next. It's finally complete. I cried all my tears when I saw their stories. But luckily, I won in the end. Everything I wanted to know is now clear. Zero. But is it really over? Where did Loki go with the Rubik's Cube? Just when people still have more to say. Point. Suddenly a barrage attracted the attention of countless people. Yes, they vaguely remember that Loki escaped with the cosmic cube. You must know that the ancient master said in the previous video that once the timeline of the Infinity Stones is changed, it will inevitably cause a series of chain reactions. So Loki's behavior also changed the timeline. What will happen? That's right. Where did Loki go with the Rubik's Cube? Does that god of trickery want to rule the entire earth again? Although that guy looks like he deserves a beating, I have to say, this guy's really quite likable. Yeah, especially when I saw him being beaten. I laughed so hard. I really wish I could see where he went with the Rubik's Cube and what happened. The Function of barrage makes countless people's thoughts diverge and collide. They were all discussing what would happen to the Avengers in the future, and what would happen to Loki who took away the Rubik's Cube. It's just that they don't have an accurate statement, and the video doesn't reveal the information. But at this moment another topic also caused extensive discussion in the barrage. You said, these superheroes are so miserable one by one. So who is the first superhero? Why do I feel that there is nothing worse? Hiss. What you say makes sense. It seems that they all appeared in the final battle, right? So who will be the first superhero? I think it is very likely that the author will make a twist this time. It will definitely be unexpected. Reversal? Good guy. This author always makes people unexpected. I dare to believe that we can't guess this first superhero. But I'm sure that the author will definitely give us a satisfactory answer. Yes, his editing techniques have improved a lot, and his suspense setting skills have also increased a lot. So I'm really looking forward to who the last superhero will be. Yes, it feels like making a movie in the human world. The story is obviously over, but there is still an Easter egg left. Maybe this last one is an Easter egg. Loki. I don't care who the first one is, I just want to know where Loki went. Good guy, I'm afraid you don't know that the barrage function always displays the real name. Hahaha. It's really fun for Loki to find topics for himself this time, but I can believe that you will definitely appear in the video later. I really hope to see you being beaten by the Hulk again. Loki 1.3 @% in the universe. The barrage was discussing crazily. Just like after watching a movie, countless people are sharing their feelings after watching it and their thoughts on the follow-up of the movie. Their sense of anticipation never waned. Iron Man, please accept the reward and choose two from the 3 options below. To do this, you need to reward the author with an item. At this time, the sound of the dimensional platform rang. Attracted the attention of countless people. Their hearts were pounding. Crazy to know what reward Iron Man will get. Option 1. Future notes. Write down your thoughts on the future notes, which will guide things to happen and turn them into facts without being affected by special factors. Option 2. Transformers. Divided into 2 factions. Autobots and Decepticons are mechanical life forms with independent self-awareness and also have super combat capabilities. You can choose any one from them, and they will completely obey orders. Option 3. G's absolute command. The king's power. No one can disobey the categorical command, and can distort the ethics, thoughts, and beliefs of the person being ordered. Tips. It can only be used once on one person, and can be used on multiple people at the same time, and when using, look directly into the other person's eyes. The effective range is 270 meters. Hiss! Exclamation mark. Chapter 139. When countless people see the reward. They all took a breath of cold air, looking forward to what Iron Man will choose. Thanks to readers Dad's Pies 1234 and 17,877 for the 100 reward. 90. The future notes shocked the universe. Optimus Prime. Boom, boom, boom. When countless people see the rewards on the dimensional platform. My heart was beating like crazy, as if I had been hit hard. Originally, they thought that Iron Man's reward would be the same as the previous 3 choices, and the third one was to choose a hero that had not been chosen by other heroes. But this time 3 new rewards have appeared again, and when they fully see what these 3 rewards are. They all took a few breaths of cold air. The expression on his face can no longer be described as shock. It's simply shocking, extremely shocking, because these 3 rewards are simply too outrageous. Once upon a time. They thought the rewards were all props or skills that increased attack power or defense power, but now after seeing the rewards of Iron Man. They found out they were wrong. I thought Thor's rewards were outrageous enough, but until now I saw Iron Man's rewards, I realized I was wrong. Hiss! This can no longer be described as outrageous. These 3 rewards may not sound like much, but when you think about it carefully, this is once again beyond my knowledge. Yeah, I want all 3 of these rewards. It's so perverted, although it seems that the 3 offensive abilities are not as strong as the rewards of heroes such as Thor, but this ability feels too versatile. Maybe this is the preference of the dimensional platform for Iron Man. When Countless people see these three options. I didn't feel much at first point, but when they savor the effects of these things, a chill rushed directly from the back to the inspiration of heaven. I just feel my scalp is numb. Then they all fixed their sights on option 1. Their breathing was rapid, their pupils dilated sharply, and their faces were full of shock, as if they were filled with lemons. That's right point. When they carefully interpreted the function of future notes, it felt like a huge wave had set off in my heart, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. Unexpectedly, it can guide future development without being affected by special factors, making the words written in the notes become facts. What an outrageous method. Holy crap. You can actually make what you write down become a fact. What kind of outrageous 09 method is this? I'm so stupid. Until now, I thought I could only change the future. But now you tell me that you can guide the development of the future and make it a reality. Aren't you damn invincible? It's not completely invincible, right? Didn't he also say that it can only be so if there are no special factors? You're stupid. What do you think makes such a heaven-defying prop special? It must be something like the time stone in Doctor Strange's hand. And the most terrifying thing is that, even if there are special factors, it will still guide the future direction. Although it may not become a reality, it is too powerful. Boom. When this barrage appeared on the dimensional platform point, it instantly caused a huge sensation in the entire universe. That's right point for such a heaven-defying prop. If others did not do something according to the normal script, wouldn't the final result not happen? Of course not, unless it is a higher level magic or prop that interferes with the future notes. But will its function fail? Neither. It will still guide the future direction. But there is no way of knowing whether it can become a fact. The thought of this, it is difficult for countless people not to think of Iron Man, who has always had forward thinking. He thinks very far every time point. This is why he has been uneasy and very desperate point. And with this future note, wouldn't this problem be perfectly solved? Wait a minute. With this future note, Iron Man no longer has to worry all day long. He can finally sleep peacefully. Hiss. What you said seems to make sense. The reward of love is also customized. Holy shit. With this, I can completely avoid a lot of things. After all, Iron Man thinks further than others, so this is really suitable for him. Countless people were so excited that they sent barrages like crazy point. Hopefully Iron Man will choose this reward point after all. This thing really fits his advanced ideas. With this, you can rest peacefully and don't have to work so hard. Soon point people turned their attention to the second reward point. I was confused when I first watched it point. I don't know what transforms a point, but when I saw what was said behind me, it was a mechanical life form with independent consciousness. The whole universe was shocked. Good guy. When I rewarded Pikachu for the first time, I thought it wouldn't surprise me if I was rewarded with a living thing again. But he meowed, and I was wrong again. Oh. Holy crap. A mechanical life form. A mechanical life form with independent consciousness. Isn't this what Iron Man has always dreamed of? Hiss. And being able to completely obey Iron Man's orders. This is a reward that is very suitable for Iron Man. However, you can only choose one, but maybe you can recreate it. Then, the question is, how are mechanical life forms created, or can they reproduce? Ahem. Why is the atmosphere so anxious? I'm so excited. When you talk about reproduction, I get excited. The barrages are getting more and more outrageous, but this does not prevent people from refreshing their knowledge again. Point. When Thor got Pikachu before point, it was already shocking enough point, but this time the Transformers shocked them again. Because he is a mechanical life form, it is much more mysterious and complex than the most familiar carbon-based life forms. This is why the barrage. Many people are speculating on how Transformers are created or how they reproduce, although the topic of the barrage was immediately diverted. Point. But the most important thing, and what people are most concerned about, is that Transformers is very consistent with Iron Man's desire to arm the world. Point. Because I'm completely obedient to him. Point. Maybe compared to Vision. Point. Transformers are more suitable. Let's talk about reward 3. Point. Categorical imperative. Point. It is also an ability that does not seem to have much offensive power, but when people take a closer look at what this ability can be used for, they all gasped. It seems that I have thought of something very incredible. Hey. This ability doesn't seem to be lethal, and it can only be used once on one person, but this is an absolute order. Then if I let him commit suicide, will he also listen to me? Holy crap. It seems so. It can also distort the ethics, thoughts, and beliefs of the person being ordered. If you use this on Thanos, wouldn't it be able to change his mind? Yes, your idea is indeed a good one. Give an absolute order to Thanos and let him commit suicide. All of this should be able to be stopped, and this absolute command can be used on multiple targets at the same time. Wouldn't it be more fun to directly issue a suicide command to Thanos' army? Hey, it's great, but there seems to be a limit. You have to look directly into your eyes and be at a distance of 270 meters. Then, if I close my eyes, won't it break the skill? It seems that there is still a way to break it. You're so damn stupid. If you close your eyes, what's the difference between you and a blind man in a fight? Wouldn't it be easy to defeat you? Boom. When someone raises a question, someone also raises a refutation point. Countless people's hearts feel like they have set off huge waves and cannot calm down for a long time. Although this skill does not seem to have much offensive power, but the effect is very broad, even if it can only be used once for one person point, but it is a categorical imperative that can also reverse thoughts and beliefs. It sounds like it can be used against Thanos, after all. Isn't that guy's idea to wipe out half of all life in the universe? And because it can also be used on multiple targets at the same time point, even if it's Thanos' army, what does it matter? Once people figure out what all the rewards do, only then did they realize that the reward this time could really only be described as the worst of the worst. There were expressions of shock and envy on his face. They all turned their attention to Tony Stark on the other side of the dimensional platform. I want to know how he should choose. Chapter 140. The other side. After watching his own funeral. Tony Stark is still immersed in regret and has not come out. Yes, even though he uses a cold mechanical reactor as his heart is extremely warm. If saying superhero is a compliment to him, so this sentence is an affirmation of his life. At this time he finally raised his head and faced it all. Because he feels that the reward he chooses will affect the subsequent future. But when he saw what the reward was, he, like everyone else in the universe, was so shocked that his face was shaking. Shit, future notes, mechanical life forms, and the ability to command. How do I choose? Iron Man rested his chin on his hand. Lost in thought. To be honest, he wants them all. But now I can only choose 2 out of 3. But he already had the answer in his heart. After watching the video of the future, he found that he had been worried about the future and worried that he would not have enough power to protect it all. And he still remembers clearly what his future self said. Why should they be Avengers instead of preventers? So 1 and 2 are very suitable for him. As for option 3. Honestly, it seems to be really effective. But no one can guarantee whether one word will lead to disaster. Yes, after seeing himself create Ultron. He will already start to think deeply in his heart. I believe that categorical imperatives are powerful, but sometimes what you say when you are angry may cause catastrophe. This is something no one expected. He thought of it. Alternate questions. Group Beijing 6. Feed Sillings, so he replied without hesitation. I choose to reward 1 and 2. Wow, the whole universe was in an uproar. Sure enough, Iron Man chose the first 2 rewards that were more in line with his ideas, so everyone was looking forward to seeing whether these 2 rewards were as incredible as described. Ding. Congratulations to Iron Man for receiving the reward, which is being distributed. When the sound of the dimensional platform sounded, a beam of light lit up. Then a white futuristic electronic notebook appeared in Iron Man's hands. Touch. Bing bing cool. But one can feel a very strange power fluctuation in it. Then Tony Stark, under the expectant eyes of countless people, picked up the pen that came with the future notes, and after thinking for a while, he wrote on it, Chala will fall. That's when Tony Stark wrote this thing. The anticipation of countless people was heightened at this moment, and they all stared at Chala next to Tony Stark in the video with bated breath. But a few seconds passed. There was no reaction. And it looked like Chala was standing there. Why did he fall? No, why hasn't Black Panther fallen yet? He was standing so steadily. How could he fall? Could this notebook be a lie? Maybe. It's true. Wait for 590. Look, just when countless people raised questions, Chalo's sister walked in and prepared some food for them. But at this moment, she suddenly threw her foot directly on Chalo's body and threw him to the ground together. See this scene. Countless people took a breath of cold air, their hearts beating like crazy as if they had set off a huge wave. It's like recalling the future notes, guiding the future and making it a reality instead of it becoming a fact. As soon as you write it down, damn, I'm so tired. With this thing, I can pick up a lot of galaxy coins every day. Hiss, if we have this, then I will be sitting at home, and money will come from the sky. It'll be so cool. Look at your potential. If I had the future notes, hehe, I could experience what it means to live in the harem of an emperor. At Ash%, you still have the nerve to accuse us. Sour, so sour. The whole barrage filled the screen with acid. They can see the effect of future notes for all to see. What about Transformers? They stopped their discussion and turned their attention to the dimensional platform again. The options for Transformers immediately changed into various Transformers, divided into two factions, Autobots and Decepticons, from which you can choose one. See this scene. Countless people are even more sour. Good guy, you can choose for yourself, but they knew that Tony would definitely go to the leaders of the two factions and make a choice between the two leaders. Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots. Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons. Who should you choose? Tony Stark fell into deep thought for a moment. Considered a lot. In the final decision, he chose Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, because he saw the description of Optimus Prime: upright, strong, philanthropic, kind, friendly, and caring for the overall situation. So he said, I choose Optimus Prime. The words just fell. The dimensional platform immediately bloomed with a beam of light that soared into the sky. A large truck immediately appeared in the laboratory, directly piercing the floor and destroying many equipment. Although they didn't care either, but they were all confused. Why a big truck? The image displayed on the option clearly looks like a robot. Holy crap. It's a big truck. Maybe I've been deceived again. Yes. Why do you look like this? Just when Tony Stark and others, as well as the people watching the video, were confused. Click, click. I saw the big truck making a sharp friction sound. Then in the shocked eyes of countless people, from a big truck, like a magic trick, it transformed into the appearance of Optimus Prime. Suddenly the whole universe was boiling. 91. Star-Lord is probably not a fool, right? Everyone, feeling good. Click, click. At this time, when Optimus Prime completely transformed from a big truck into an Autobot. Tony Stark and others, as well as those who were watching the video, took a deep breath, and their pupils expanded rapidly, as if they had seen something incredible. They only felt a chill running from their backs to the sky. Their scalp was numb, and they had goosebumps all over their bodies. The pimples stood up, looking at the tall Optimus Prime, whose body was mainly blue and red, and who exuded a sense of terror and oppression. They all felt as if they were standing at the feet of a steel beast. Those who were still confused before closed their mouths one after another, too shocked to speak. Now they know why they are called Autobots. It turns out that you can actually switch between cars and robots. This is so awesome. Hiss. Is this Optimus Prime? I really thought it was a big truck just now. Yeah, who would have thought that a big truck would turn into a robot? It completely refreshed my knowledge. And look at the parts on his body. They are really too sophisticated. This level of technology surpasses how many planets in the universe. Yeah, how on earth was he made? This is amazing. Look at Tony Stark's eyes. I'm afraid even a genius like him will have to fight with. Let's be shocked. On the dimensional platform. Shocking barrages filled the screen crazily. And the eyes of countless people have shifted from Optimus Prime to Tony Stark. The expression on his face was the same as that of countless others, staring at Optimus Prime in stunned silence. Honestly. Chapter 141. He's been working with robots for years. When I saw the Hulkbuster armor that beat up the Hulk. He made it overnight. But he never thought that one day a robot would be so shocking to him. He has independent self-awareness, and every part of his body appears to be so precise. Good, very good, great. This is what I want. Tony, Stark's eyes became feverish. Obviously very satisfied with Optimus Prime. Then he said to Optimus Prime, "Optimus Prime, please leave this building first, then transform into a truck, and wait for me outside." At this time, Tony Stark's orders were heard by countless people across the universe. Their eyes were fixed on Optimus Prime. You have to know that he is the leader of the Autobots. Would he really take orders from a mortal like Tony Stark? At this time, Optimus Prime answered their questions with action. Yes, Optimus Prime jumped down directly and landed heavily on the ground, kicking up countless gravel and dust. Then, under the shocked eyes of countless people, he transformed back into a big truck and waited quietly. Hiss. See this scene. Everyone has already decided. Optimus Prime does take orders from Tony Stark. Doesn't it mean that Tony Stark's goal is about to be achieved? For example, the Iron Legion is created, and Optimus Prime is a leader, allowing him to arm the entire Earth. The purpose of prevention can be achieved. Wow. Tony can really sleep peacefully like this. This is great. Yes, he is too tired in the future, and now he can finally change this. With the future note and Optimus Prime, Tony Stark now has something that can change his destiny. I hope to see him defeat Thanos soon in the future. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to deal with Thanos as soon as possible. As soon as you mentioned Thanos, I seem to remember it. How did Thanos come out in the final battle? Yes, how did Thanos come out? When this barrage appears like a stone dropped into water, it creates quite a ripple. Now they are looking forward to where the Iron Man's choice will also start to hide the video. But just when countless people were looking forward to it, the sound of the dimensional platform also sounded at this time. Ding. Congratulations to Iron Man for his choice, which triggered the hidden video. Really? It really triggered the hidden video. I knew there were hidden videos. I especially want to know how the power gem was obtained. There is only one gem now, and it has not been explained. Right, yes, and Thanos looks like the past Thanos has come to reality. Maybe it has something to do with collecting power gems. Looking forward to it. Countless people are looking forward to it again. They also know that this must be about the power stone among the 6 stones. At this time, music plays in the background. But what many people didn't expect was this time the music is no longer sad or tragic. It's a very casual rhythmic music that makes you want to dance along when you hear it. Hey, what's the matter with your head? Yeah, damn. Why do I want to dance when I hear this song? I don't know. Why did the feeling suddenly come on? Star-Lord. Wait. Isn't this my favorite song? You asterisk still dare to bubble up. See if I don't scold you to death at #. Countless people sent barrages one after another, although they are all spraying Star-Lord. But I have to say, this song is really good. Novel exchange group 03262220 make people hum along too. Then and there expectant eyes the video, which was originally black, appears again. Silence. Peace. A ruin that seems to have experienced countless years comes into view. There are ruins everywhere. And the sky is also purple red. If it were before, this kind of scene would naturally make people feel depressed. But now the background music is so light. On the contrary, it makes people feel very comfortable. I can't wait to know what will happen here. But at this moment, when a figure came into everyone's eyes, the barrage on the dimensional platform once again filled the screen. Damn it. You are such a rip-off. What the hell are you doing here? You're actually dancing to the song. This is very Star-Lord. Unlucky. Why is it him again? It's so unlucky. Countless people complained again. They scolded each other. The sense of anticipation has not diminished. They were very curious. What was this Star-Lord doing here? The video continues. Star-Lord listened to the song and jumped up and down along the way. Treading in puddles. Used the little monster as a microphone. Countless people even rolled their eyes. But at this moment, the background music suddenly disappeared. Just when countless people thought something unexpected or something extraordinary would happen. Result, they heard Star-Lord's real singing voice. I can't bear it anymore. This is meow. Damn it. It's so ugly to sing. How dare you sing it? Hiss. The author may have deliberately released this for public execution. Hahaha, Star-Lord, there is no place for you in the entire universe. Yeah, why don't you say anything? When you hear your own singing, do you want to find a hole in the ground to crawl into? Just when countless people were making fun of Star-Lord point and video point, the camera shifted from Star-Lord to a distant corner when Rhodes and Nebula appeared in people's sight point. Then I heard those words that countless people will remember. So, here's a fool. That's right. When the conversation between Rhodes and Nebula rang out point, the whole universe is filled with laughter. If their complaints weren't deadly enough point, so the official complaint is definitely murderous and heartbreaking. Hahaha, I'm laughing so hard. Star-Lord is probably not a fool. I thought the author had publicly executed him, but I didn't expect it to be more cruel. Directly killing people and piercing their hearts. Look at the expressions of Rhodes and Nebula, they look disgusted. It really made me laugh. Yes, this time the video is finally not sad. Long live the author. Countless people laughed point, feeling very relieved point, who made this Star-Lord make a big mistake before. At this time, boom, a dull crashing sound resounded. Then in the eyes of countless people gloating about his misfortune point, Rhodes knocked out Star-Lord with just one punch. Chapter 142. Seeing this scene, the barrage filled the screen with words such as "I feel comfortable point." It's like a guy who deserves a beating is jumping around, shouting and shouting, but he can't be hit, but he is beaten unconscious. This makes many people feel very relieved. Soon point in the video, Rhodes and Nebula came to the hiding place of the cosmic spirit ball point and took it out point. But at this moment point, the background music suddenly became scary and fast. The moment when Rhodes and Nebula were about to leave, and Rhodes had disappeared, Nebula suddenly fell to the ground. Then an extremely smooth transition appeared again point. The Nebula that fell to the ground became the Nebula that was hung up point. But those who are watching the video know that these two nebulae are not the same at all. Holy crap. It turns out that the two nebulae share a neural network, so they were connected and discovered. Hiss. Doesn't that mean that this good nebula is going to be arrested? Bang bang bang. The hearts of countless people are beating loudly when the music becomes more intense and tight point. Really point in the screen point. Good nebula has been captured point, and the damaged nebula found Pym particles. Hiss. See this scene point. Countless people took a breath of cold air. Now they finally know what happened when they collected the power stones, and they also know how Thanos and Thanos' army came to be in the final battle. That is naturally through Pym particles. But how to send the entire warship there? Wait a minute. Even if you have Pym particles, you can't send the entire warship there. Yes, when they ran this device, they should have made adjustments and prevented this problem. But have you ever thought about it? There are two nebulae here. Two nebulae. When this barrage appears on the video point, countless people's pupils expanded rapidly, and they held their breaths. They seemed to be able to imagine that this bad nebula would use this opportunity to show off himself in front of Thanos. Really point. Just as they thought point, Nebula went back point. Just bad Nebula. I saw her inserting her robotic hand into the console. When the Avengers members snapped their fingers, the portal was activated at the same time. Then I saw Thanos' warship growing from small to large until it flew into the high sky, bringing a strong sense of oppression. But that's it point. The camera didn't stop when it went from the Avengers base to Thanos' warship point. Instead, it keeps rising, as if it has broken through the barrier of the universe. When a mysterious bald head caught everyone's eyes, a chill kept running down their backs and into the sky point. My whole body is shaking. Just when they thought something was going to happen point, the ending song plays. The mysterious figure in the picture slowly disappears transparently. It represents the end of this hidden video. Lenuos. But everyone who is watching the video has not yet recovered from this video. Who was that person just now? It looked so scary. I always feel like there is a pair of eyes looking at me somewhere. Hey, stop talking. I think so too. Who is he? No matter who he is, it's now complete. It's clear how the 6 gems came from, especially when Star-Lord was beaten unconscious. I felt so happy to see him. Yeah. It's really great. In the universe point, countless people said it was cool point, but their hearts had already begun to feel uneasy point. It's just that none of them have seen the mysterious figure, so they can't discuss it. They can only look forward to the next video, but at this moment point the last subtitle in the video attracted the attention of countless people. Take a break. The next video will start in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Holy shit. Countless people's faces were full of excitement and shock. They thought that 2 hours was enough. As a result, you told me that I only need to wait 15 minutes for the next video. This is simply a dream, isn't it? I only had to wait 15 minutes. Oh my god. I feel so happy. Bang. I originally thought that 2 hours would be enough happiness, but now it only takes 15 minutes. It's so cool. I will never scold you again, author. If I call you a dog again, I'll be like a dog. Woof. Woof. Countless people in the universe screamed with excitement and blushing. Keep your eyes glued to the screen without even blinking. Their sense of anticipation was filled at this moment. Who is the first superhero? They can't wait to know. 92. The first superhero, Stanley. Click. At this moment on a certain planet. Thanos is sitting on a suspended stone seat. His face was full of solemn expression. Ebony Throat and other subordinates on the side did not dare to say a word. They were very early on. He once boasted that Thanos could win no matter what. The results of it, Iron Man took away 6 gems and even snapped his fingers, bringing back all the lives wiped out by Thanos, and he died twice. But this is not their biggest worry. What worries me most is the future notes Iron Man just obtained. If it is as described. Words that can guide the future. So wouldn't Thanos be able to achieve his ultimate goal no matter what? Where's Ronan at this time? Thanos' coercive voice sounded. If you listen carefully, it also contains negative emotions such as anger and irritability. Obviously Thanos now doesn't know what to do because the video was broadcast. Everyone knows that in the future they will personally push their beloved Gamora off the cliff. So Gamora now. I have completely betrayed him. At this time. The sound of footsteps kept coming from a distance. Ebony Moore and others were seen slowly shifting their gaze from Thanos to the distance. When Ronan's figure came into view. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there is someone to bear the wrath of Thanos. Thanos, your daughter caused something, and you asked me to come see you. At this time. Ronan was very dissatisfied and expressed the anger in his heart. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143. The Cosmic Spirit Ball was originally within easy reach, but it was because of Gamora that this operation failed. Shut up, you idiot, Ebony Throat warned. But how could Ronan stop if he was so angry? She was first beaten up by that dancing idiot and then captured by the Nova Corps. Now according to intelligence, your daughter plans to betray us. Ronan gritted his teeth and growled. Extremely unhappy with Thanos. It was obviously her daughter who made a mistake. But let yourself come to see him. If I didn't really want to destroy Xandar, I would definitely not come to see him. Keep your voice down. 590 you. The heart of Ebony Throat on the side was beating loudly. Seeing Ronan's attitude being so disrespectful to Thanos, as the number 1 loser, he was naturally very unhappy and continued to warn Ronan. But obviously, his words would only make Ronan even more irritable. But Ronan's eyes revealed murderous intent, and he spurted energy out of his hammer. A terrifying energy wave directly hit Ebony Throat's body, sending him flying more than 10 meters away. The heavy impact hit him on the rock. He fell to the ground in embarrassment. This wave shocked Crossing Yun and others on the side. I didn't expect Ronan to be so bold, so they all looked at Thanos with his back turned to them in fear, their hearts pounding non-stop. I just hope you can take this seriously. The only thing I don't take seriously is you. Boy, I've had enough of your boring things. You act like a angry child. However, I will abide by our agreement, provided that you make the universe give me the spirit ball. If you see me empty-handed next time, I will cut you into pieces. When Thanos heard Ronan say that Gamora had betrayed point, his heart was trembling. Although he can throw Gamora off the cliff without hesitation in the future point, but you have to ask him if he loves Gamora point. The answer is of course love. So I felt very uncomfortable being betrayed by Gamora, so much so that when I spoke to Ronan, every word I spoke to was full of coercion and anger, and heard Thanos' words. Ronan gritted his teeth point. The eyes are filled with murderous intent. If it were before, he might still foolishly abide by the agreement and hand over the cosmic spirit ball to Thanos, but what now? Just finished watching the hidden video point. It was discovered that inside the cosmic spirit ball was the power gem. Our point joke point. Now that I have the power stone, do I need you to abide by the agreement and help me destroy Xander? I can do it myself. Ronan sneered in his heart point. He immediately turned around and left point. I couldn't help but thank the author of the inventory video, which made him enlightened. The current goal is to go to the prison and seize the cosmic spirit ball. As for Thanos and others, he stared at the dimensional platform with gloomy eyes. Let's see who the first superhero is. Hey. 15 minutes. Just wait 15 minutes. The other side point. The Avengers members and others had not yet reacted to Optimus Prime's shock point. Little Spider Peter Parker shouted excitedly again point, so they all turned their attention to the dimensional platform point. It was just as he said point. After the video appears with that subtitle point, it has entered a countdown state. Originally, they thought they would have to wait another day or more point, but I didn't expect that this time it would be shorter than before point. Their passion and anticipation were instantly aroused. Everyone is guessing who the first superhero will be. You think who else is worse off than us at this time point? Tony spoke point. Obviously, by this we are referring to heroes who died, and Thor lost all his heroes. Others heard the words. They all fell into deep thought point until Nick Fury said, first of all, we can rule out that fool. He was taken out and executed in public by the author, so it can't be him. I think Captain Marvel is possible. Of course, this is my guess. Here, the words of Nick fried point. Wanda nodded point. After all, in the final battle point, Captain Marvel represents the leader of their heroines, so she agreed very much point. But Spider-Man Peter Parker doesn't think so. I don't think so. Think about it. Captain Marvel is so powerful, but he didn't stop Thanos. In the end, it was Mr. Stark who turned the tide. So I think the first superhero is not her, but maybe the guy named Scott. This guy, I'm very optimistic about him. I looked at you because he looks a lot like you. He's also related to animals, and he's the same talkative person. Chala's sister laughed point. It seemed that Peter Parker's little thoughts were exposed at once point, but who knew that what he said was actually reasonable? And he immediately retorted, although there is such a connection, but think about it, if he hadn't appeared, Mr. Stark and the others might not have known that there was such a way to travel through time and save the world. It seems to make sense. If Scott hadn't come out of the quantum realm point, maybe there is really no such thing as an act of defiance point. Those people who have been erased are really erased. Now it seems maybe Scott will actually make the list because they remember that there is no distinction between rankings. That little and still has a chance. What you say makes sense, but I always feel indescribably weird. I think this author will definitely surprise all of us. Chala thought carefully point. Something feels wrong point. Then everyone fell into deep thought point. This scene is being played out in countless places in the universe point. These 15 minutes, none of them could give an accurate answer. Most people even think that they may be on the list. Tell me, who is the first superhero? I really can't think of anyone else who could be on the list. Yes, we discussed everything just now. No one can make the list. Captain Marvel barely made the list, but his failure to stop Thanos in the end has always been a hurdle in my mind, so I think he may not make it. Stop guessing. Who would have thought that Iron Man was on the list before? So no one can guess this last superhero. That's right. Maybe I'll be on the list. Hahaha. You stop joking. I think the previous hidden videos must be meaningful. Especially the bald head that appeared at the end. I think the author must have put it in on purpose. Yeah, that one must be meaningful. It starts in 1 minute. I'm so looking forward to it. Countless people were discussing crazily point. Their sense of anticipation was already full point. And I think, no matter how you guess, You may not be able to guess who the first superhero is. The other side. Lin Lan leisurely drank tea and looked at the computer screen. Until after editing the last superhero video. He thought he might as well just send it out. And the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. I think these 15 minutes are a torture for the entire Marvel universe. Because they will never guess who the last superhero is. Let this video be used as an Easter egg for the entire review, and by the way, it can be used as a transition to my second ranking video. Let these guys understand what the crazy multiverse is. And the hidden that guy in the back, Lin Lan murmured in a low voice. Immediately uploaded the video without hesitation, quietly waiting to cause an uproar in the Marvel universe. Chapter 144. Time passed by minute. The countdown on the screen is also constantly scrolling. Until the last second. The whole universe is in riot. Their pupils dilated rapidly, their breathing became rapid, and their hearts jumped into their throats. Then they clicked on the video frantically, fearing that they would be even a second behind others. Finally. The video starts. Ding ding ding. Ding 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 ding. The familiar and passionate piano sounded. In the previous video, this music was played every time the heroes appeared on the stage. Everyone who is watching the video has already remembered it. Then, what no one expected was the beginning is not a certain attraction or a certain spaceship. But scene after scene, scenes of superheroes flashing by. There are Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, etc. who have appeared before. See this scene. Countless people felt their blood boiling. The sense of anticipation was overwhelming at this moment. Because they feel that this video is different from the previous 9 videos. They are all looking forward to it. What kind of story will this video bring to them? Then right now. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. Next, let's take a look at the top 10 superheroes. He was kind, affable and endlessly creative, but he is keen on observation and appears in every corner of the universe as an observer. Wherever there are superheroes, there must be him. He has been witnessing the growth of these superheroes because he is the creator of this universe. Every superhero is like his child, from glory to end under his eyes. Boom. When Lin Lan finished speaking. Countless people trembled all over as if they had been struck by lightning. There were expressions of horror and shock on their faces. They were so shocked that it was hard to breathe. Their pupils dilated rapidly, and goosebumps all over their bodies stood up. I never expected that the last superhero would be such a terrifying existence. He is actually the creator of this universe. Holy shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm just saying we couldn't guess the last superhero. He's actually the creator of this universe. I was so stupid. I thought it was Captain Marvel and others just now, but it turned out to be like sitting in a well and looking at the sky. It really shocked me for 10,000 years. It turned out to be such a terrifying existence. He created these superheroes. I think he is the most powerful superhero. Without him, there would be no us, let alone superheroes. So, what a shocking existence this dimensional platform is, and what a terrifying existence the author is. Even the creator of the universe can edit. I feel so flattered. How can he be able to see the creator? Video. Yes, author, I will never scold you again. I was wrong. I'm a fucking dog. And the author also said that wherever there are superheroes, there are him. I'm starting to look forward to it. That's right. What does he look like? I'm so looking forward to it. The hearts of countless people were beating loudly. Feel flattered. While respecting and admiring Gio and Pinte and the author of the video. Looking forward to seeing the true face of the creator again. It's like being excited and nervous after watching a movie and seeing the Easter egg. The sense of anticipation is overwhelming at this moment. Keep your eyes glued to the top of the screen. Then I heard Lin Lan's words continuing. Next, let's take a look at the top 10 superheroes. Stanley, reason for being on the list. Without him, there would be no world, let alone the superheroes in the video. He is the creator and treats every superhero as a child, silently watching them from glory to demise. Wherever there are superheroes, there are him. His Countless people took a breath of cold air after knowing the name point, just like respecting the gods. Meditate silently in your heart point at the same time. He is crazy about looking forward to seeing his true face and appearing in places where superheroes appear. What will happen again? They couldn't wait to see it. Point 93. Stanley, what's so surprising? Never seen a spaceship? No. The number one superhero is not the Scott I imagined, but a more terrifying existence. Hiss. Then how terrifying this author must be. Shit, we all guessed wrong. Wakanda point at this moment point everyone's faces were filled with horror and shock point. They either guessed Scott or Captain Marvel, and even joked that maybe it was actually Star-Lord point. And when they saw that the first superhero turned out to be such a terrifying existence point, I saw their pupils dilating rapidly, their spines tingling, and their scalps numb. I couldn't believe that the author could actually edit such a terrifying existence. Oh my god. They used to think that the author could only foresee their future point. Now I realize that they are too simple and too insignificant. The author is not only able to foresee the future point, it can actually reach that level. The thought of this, their hearts felt as if they had been hit by a giant hammer, trembling crazily and extremely shocked. Crazy. Looking forward to what this creator will look like. After all, I know his name is Stanley point. It is also known that he often appears in places where superheroes appear, but they never had any information about the name Stanley. Did you find it? No, I used Shield to search them all, and it seems that this guy does not exist. Even if there is the same name, after investigation, none of them match. Nick Fury's voice was trembling point. Even though he was the director of Shield, he never panicked when foreign enemies invaded point, but this time, he had to panic. Good guy point. The man who created the universe is here on Earth. How can we not make him panic? But now that he couldn't find it, he became even more panicked point. So Tony Stark, Spider-Man and others all turned their attention to the dimensional platform, and then continued, I'm afraid only the video can give us the answer. Let us see with our own eyes what that person looks like. It's not just them point. The whole universe is boiling point. Crazy guesses as to what he looks like. Tell me, is Stanley the bald guy who appeared in the hidden video before? He looks so mysterious. Hiss. Don't tell me it's really possible. Do you still remember the first time you saw him? Even though he disappeared, I still felt like someone was staring at me. Just like the author said, Stanley is keen on observation and has been observing all this as an observer. Holy crap. It's really possible. If it weren't for the author, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to reach that level in our lives. The more we think about it, the more excited we get. Yes, the author is awesome. After watching this video, I will definitely watch it 10 times from beginning to end. Me too. Now let's wait for the video to give us the answer. Looking forward to it. Stanley must be the bald guy, accompanied by high burning background music point. Countless people also feel excited point, and the sense of anticipation was stretched to its peak at this moment point. They all speculated that Stanley was the bald man who appeared at the end of the hidden video, but at this moment point video continues. The scenes of heroic scenes just now transformed into a huge square point. All I saw were neon lights flashing point. A familiar figure comes into view. It was in the Spider-Man video that the first Spider-Man, Peter Parker, appeared. I saw him high-spirited, constantly approaching from the middle, and then stopped on the side of the road, turning to look at the subtitles in front of him. Spider-Man becomes the city's hero and saves the police chief's daughter. At this time point the music became very soothing and peaceful. At this moment point let the hearts of countless people begin to calm down point. I even feel a little proud in my heart point, able to see this level of video. Chapter 145. And Peter Parker in the video point. Why not? I saw his eyes fixed on the subtitles, filled with pride, and the camera came behind him point. It's like this subtitle is a barrage in the video point, before announcing to the entire universe that he is a hero. But many people's eyes are not here point. They work like detectives one by one, not missing any detail in the video. Keep an eye on people coming and going point, but they couldn't find the bald head they suspected. Even if you find a bald head, it's just a baby. Wait a minute, where is the bald head? Are you lying to me? Hey, yes, where is Stanley hiding? According to the author, he is keen on observation and released this video clip so it will definitely appear. Just as countless people were puzzled. It's like searching for a treasure. A white-haired figure came to Peter Parker's side. Then the background music suddenly became louder, giving people the joy of finally finding a treasure. I saw countless people holding their breath and concentrating, their pupils dilating rapidly, staring at the white-haired figure. At this time, the camera turned around, confronted the old man and Peter Parker. When the old man's face came into people's eyes, the whole universe is boiling. Is he Stan Lee? Holy shit, I know him. Isn't he the same courier that Tony Stark calls Tony Shit Tucker? Hiss. Don't tell me it's really him. It turns out he has appeared a long time ago. Oh my god, he is actually Stan Lee. I didn't see it at all. Is this the creator who created our universe? He is really just like ordinary people and cannot be discovered at all. Countless people raised their arms and shouted. His face was full of excitement and excitement. They were just guessing that Stan Lee was the bald guy. But I just found out now. It turns out that it had already appeared in the Iron Man video and also called him Tony Shit Tucker. At this time they realized it too. It's exactly what the author said. Wherever there are superheroes, Stan Lee will be there because they are like his children. I guess only one person can be so different. At this time, countless people have turned their attention to the dimensional platform. I saw Stan Lee saying this to Peter Parker. Peter Parker was filled with emotion as he just took a breath and prepared to speak. Stan Lee went on to say, "No need to say anything more." With that, Stan Lee left. But Peter Parker's face was filled with a smile. See this scene. People who are watching the video know that Stan Lee's words are speaking to Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and they also strengthened Spider-Man's heart. But at this moment the background music stopped suddenly, then the elegant jazz sounds, making people feel like dancing. Then the screen changed. In a library. The second generation Spider-Man is fighting the lizard. But it's puzzling. Why is the background music not exciting fighting music, but this elegant music? Just when countless people are confused. Whoosh, a desk was knocked away by a lizard man. It's like 3D and seems to fly out of the screen. At this time Spider-Man sprayed out spider webs and grabbed the desk. When the camera slowly zooms into the desk. Countless people burst into laughter because at this time Stan Lee was wearing headphones and listening to music while scanning books, completely unaware that someone was fighting. Hahaha, I'm laughing so hard. Stan Lee didn't notice anyone was fighting. Holy crap, what kind of headphones are so good at soundproofing? I want one. Hey, Stan is so cute. He doesn't look like a creator at all, but more like an amiable old man. I find that I like him a little bit. Yeah, I feel like this video is definitely not sad anymore. Long live the author. Long live the author. Finally it won't make me cry. No, you're wrong. I think I'm going to cry tears of laughter. That's better than crying. Very good. Very good. This time the video is finally not sad, but happy. Countless people were excited. When looking away again. I saw Stan Lee elegantly, calmly, and cutely swinging his two fingers involuntarily to the song, and then left the library with a book under his arm. Spider-Man and Lizard-Man were not found until they walked out the door. People see this scene. I can't help but admire Stan Lee's acting skills as an observer. How could he not know? This also made people fall in love with him even more. At this time the divine transition has come. The moment Stan Lee walked out of the door, the camera faced him, and at some point, an extra pair of sunglasses appeared. Then the background music became extremely intense. It's like celebrating graduation. Soon the camera looks like it's through Stan Lee's eyes. Crowds of people. All eyes were on the graduation stage. But only Stan Lee looked into the distance. I saw a figure floating in the sky, and while being blocked by a room, it changed clothes and came out. It was a second generation Spider-Man. Hey, I think I know that guy. At this time Stan Lee said this. This made everyone agree on one sentence. That is Stan Lee. He is really an observer. He observes so carefully. Hahaha. So many people, but he was the only one who saw it. Yeah, this little old man is very bad. Fortunately, no one paid attention to him. Otherwise Spider-Man's identity would have been exposed. Maybe this is Stan Lee who is keen on observing. It's so interesting. Now there is the second Spider-Man, and the third one. Yes. I'm already looking forward to it. Countless people have discovered it by now. Stan Lee actually appeared on the superhero scene. And now only the first two Spider-Men in the Spider-Man video have appeared. I can't help but look forward to it. Will he be there as the third Spider-Man? The sense of anticipation is full at this moment. Zero ask for flowers. The result is here. The background music became extremely scary and dangerous. In the screen. The donut-shaped spaceship caught everyone's eyes. They knew that this was the spacecraft that Iron Man and others flew to Titan on. Then I saw the camera zooming in. The interior of a school bus. Peter Parker appeared in front of everyone just as they thought, "Hey, Ned, I need you to distract everyone." Chapter 146. At this time Peter Parker calls out to his good brother Ned. The latter is obviously very sensible. He shouted directly and then attracted the attention of the students. They all ran to the back of the car and looked into the distance. As for Peter Parker, he took advantage of this gap and put on his hood outside the car window. Just when the classmates were making noises, the camera switches scenes and comes to the driving seat. I said, "What's the matter with you kids? Have you never seen a spaceship? Never seen a spaceship?" Stan Lee's disgusting tone immediately caused countless people to burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, what's going on with you kids? Haven't you even seen a spaceship? My damn, Stan Lee is the creator. 666. You are worthy of being Stan Lee. He is worthy of being a man who can fight Spider-Man and the Lizard Man with ease. What does this spaceship mean? Ha ha ha. I almost laughed to death at his words. His disgusting tone and actions are so inappropriate. Very. But this is very Stan Lee. Always so calm and calm. Just when people thought every time Stan Lee appeared it would be this fun. The video continues again. Soon people realized. Zero. This time it's the Hulk. It should be the Hulk this time, right? Yes, it must be the Hulk. That's not necessarily true. Maybe Stan Lee is too busy sometimes. He can't be in all superheroes, whether he's there or not. This video is so fun. I just don't have to see dead people anymore. Countless people are looking forward to it. His eyes were fixed on the screen. Even a little excited. Looking forward to what fun things Stan Lee will show in the next hero. Soon. Video transition. The lenses, as if it were stuffed inside the refrigerator. When the refrigerator is opened. Stan Lee's figure caught people's eyes. Then I saw him picking up a bottle of green drink. Not only did it make people confused. Which hero does this have to do with? There are different opinions, and there is no precise answer. But while people are talking about it, suddenly, thriller and thrilling music played in the background, like something bad is going to happen. It made countless people's heartstrings tighten, hold their breath, and even speculate whether it was the Hulk who got into a fight and then rushed in. But they saw it. After Stan Lee drank the green drink. A word of appreciation. But, guy, it makes us worry in vain. Although people complained, they were relieved in their hearts. I thought something bad would really happen. The result is here. Snapped. The drink bottle smashed to the ground, and Stan Lee also fell down. The general who was tracking the Hulk was heard on the screen, and the Hulk's location was discovered. Seeing this scene, countless people froze in place. The whole video is said to be relaxing and enjoyable. Why is Stan Lee dead? Damn. What's going on? Didn't we agree to be relaxed and happy? I still want to see him continue to pretend to be happy. Hiss. Why is he dead? I don't accept it. I don't accept it. It's hard to find a video that makes people happy. Why did this happen again? Ah, you stupid. Stan Lee is obviously trying to trick the Hulk. Isn't he still alive in the back? Boom. When this barrage comes out. Countless people were stunned. There seems to be some truth to what you say. Good guy. It turned out to be an act. Good guy. Let me tell you how could Stan Lee die. He must have deliberately tricked the Hulk and exposed him. That's right. This little old man is so bad. Hulk. He has such good intentions and you actually call him evil. If he hadn't exposed me, how would I have joined the Avengers? How could I fuse with the Hulk? You are too petty. 6666. You have a very high level of ideological awareness. Ha ha ha. Holy shit. Hulk bull. Hulk, my hero. Why have you changed? Countless People burst into laughter. It was exactly what they thought. Point where there is Stan Lee, there is joy. This video is beautiful. They are also looking forward to what interesting things Stan Lee will do in the next heroic scene. Factory 94. Perverted old man. Son of Odin? I'll cut it anyway. Wow. It turns out that the driver of our school bus is Stan Lee. Hiss. I asked why I was discovered before. It turned out to be because of Stan Lee. But without him, I might not have been able to join the Avengers. At this time point, Spider-Man and Banner side with emotion. Point the latter is the first time to send barrages on the dimensional platform. Point like a meteorite falling into the ocean. It stirred up a tsunami that reached the sky, causing countless people to burst into laughter. You guys are pretty good, but he actually called me shit Tucker. I really can't bear it. At this time point, Iron Man Tony Stark added. Point anyone who had seen this scene before was already feeling aggrieved. Point, but I didn't expect that the little old man was actually Stan Lee. But fortunately it has been broadcast in the video before. Point, so he thinks that in Stan Lee's video he won't be whipped again like Rocky. Of course, he was praying and looking forward to seeing if any other heroes are more pitiable than him. Point in this case, not many people will use this as a joke to laugh at themselves like Rhodes did. It's not just him. Point people in the universe are laughing and looking forward to the follow-up video. Point after all, this video is different from the previous 9 videos, no longer so depressing. Point there is no more separation between life and death. Point although it still brings tears to my eyes, but this time it was a laugh that made people cry. Point very good, very good. I just love watching this kind of video. The Hulk is finished. It should be Black Panther's turn, right? Although I don't know if he has appeared, but I really hope to see the king again. Yes, I also like kings. There's no other reason for that. I just like rich people. In an instant. Point under the excited and expectant eyes of countless people. Point the video continues. I saw only one place. Point the sound of noise and music blended into each other. Point even without background music. Point it can also make people watching the video on 607 feel happy. Point at this time. Chapter 147. The figure of Black Panther T'Challa comes into view. I saw him taking a step forward, coming to a man and saying, "I leave Zemo to you, didn't I keep it a secret for you that a king of a third world country was running around in a bulletproof catsuit? I really think we are even, and you really should go." When the word Zemo came out of his mouth. Point the translucent screen appears again. Point the background music suddenly becomes sad and heroic. Point it once again reminds me of someone's sacrifice. Really. Point the same explosion scene in the Black Panther video is shown again. Point when T'Challa's father died. Point the camera zoomed out and came to a tall building somewhere where a person was showing a satisfied smile. See this scene. Point people who are watching the video and Black Panther and others know. Point all of this was planned by this person. It turns out that the death of the previous king was planned by him. Hiss. I didn't expect information to be revealed here. The author's editing is amazing, but I just want to see the little old man. Where is Stan Lee? Wait, look. At this time. Point people knew who was the murderer of the king. Point, but their focus seemed to be on Stan Lee. Point, but just as Black Panther T'Challa left. Point a familiar figure once again caught people's eyes. Just when people were looking forward to what Stan Lee would do. Point I saw him slowly coming to where T'Challa was standing just now, with a serious look on his face, and then said to the person next to him, "You know, I will take this temporarily and keep it for him." Finished. Point Stan Lee pocketed all the chips on the table and walked away. Point see this scene. Point countless people froze in place. Point good guy. Point how did you manage to say keep it for him with a serious look on your face? Ha ha ha. Stan Lee said it seriously. I almost believed him. Damn it. I didn't expect Stan Lee to be so cute, and he actually said he would keep it for him. You are obviously just a bargaining chip for greedy people. Very good. This one is very Stan Lee. It really deserves to be him. The old man is very naughty, but I like it. Stan Lee's behavior once again refreshed people's understanding of him. Point I didn't expect him to have such a naughty side. Just when people thought that the subsequent videos would be so casual and entertaining, suddenly the background music becomes extremely thrilling and high-pitched. Point it immediately reminds me of a battle scene. Point as a result, they were all filled with anticipation and stared at the screen with bated breath. Point could it be that Stan Lee is about to take action? They are crazy to know what will happen next. Then the screen changed. Only the straight commercial street comes into view. Soon people saw it. Doctor Strange and Master Mordo are running forward crazily and have summoned a magic portal. Just at the moment they were about to pass through, boom, the background music suddenly becomes louder. It made countless people's hearts tremble. Suddenly, I saw the world spinning. The building in front seemed to have been folded, flipping to the right. In the shocked eyes of countless people, it seemed as if the whole world had been turned upside down, and Doctor Strange and Master Mordo also fell to the right. Boom. A dull crashing sound resounded. I saw two people falling on the side of the bus, and the faces of Doctor Strange and Master Mordo were full of shock and confusion. This also makes many people wonder why, but at this moment the camera came to the inside of the bus and looked outside. When Doctor Strange and Master Mordo lay on the glass, the background music immediately became calm, soothing, and even a little joyful. There was only a glass of glass between the two of them. Stanley was sitting there reading a book and laughing happily. Haha, so interesting. Boom. See this scene. The pupils of countless people dilated rapidly. There was excitement on his face. It seems to have recreated the scene from the second generation of Spider-Man. You can beat me as much as you want, but I'll still read a book. Wait a minute. Isn't this a scene from the second Spider-Man? How could a fight or something have anything to do with me? Stanley. Hahaha. Stanley is not wearing headphones this time. But this proves that wherever there are superheroes, there is me, Stanley. Hey, why are you all so excited? Have you never seen a fight? How could I, Stanley, be distracted by a fight? That's right. How can you be distracted by reading a book? I'm afraid the old man's only hobby is reading. It's very good. Very good. You are talking about reading while others are fighting, but this does prove that he likes books. It seems that, although Mr. Stanley is naughty, it proves that his hobby is not bad. Countless people appreciate Stanley's hobby of reading. But at this moment the scene changes again. I saw the camera going down from high in the sky. A planet full of technology comes into view. Xander. People, come and see what kind of fools they are. Busy walking around. All kinds of fools are here. Look at this man. He also calls us criminals. He is more looks like it. When a familiar voice sounded. The screen changed to an electronic screen similar to a scanner. Then people saw it one after another. It's Rocket Raccoon scanning passers-by on Xander. This made everyone nervous. Once again, they were looking for Stanley like a treasure, and many of them focused on the person holding the ebook, because they know that if Stanley is not reading, he is reading. But after a while they all gave up. Good guy. No one is Stanley. Hey, that's strange. What is Stanley's identity this time? Did we guess wrong? Maybe. Yes, maybe this time he is not reading a book, but maybe he is playing the role of a learned old man. Yes, it's possible. Stanley should come to Rocket Raccoon and say a word like he appeared in the first Spider-Man video this time. At this time a barrage woke them up. They all remembered the scene that appeared in the first act. Then he fixed his gaze on the passerby who passed by Rocket Raccoon. But at this moment Rocket Raccoon said with great disgust, "Look at the perverted old man still teasing you. You pervert who teases women." Ha ha ha. Silence. Speechless. Everyone froze in place. The atmosphere became very solid at this moment. They were still thinking about it just now. Is Stanley reading a book, or is he playing a learned old man? Think of his image as extremely beautiful. As a result, you told me he is actually teasing women. That hand naturally wrapped around her waist. Oh my god. Boom. See this scene. Chapter 148. The hearts of countless people trembled suddenly, as if they had been hit hard. It's as if the three views have been refreshed again. Who the fuck just said that Stanley was reading a book? He was teasing women. This perverted old man. Damn it. It seems that Stanley has refreshed my knowledge again. This bad old man is so bad that he secretly picks up girls behind our backs. Wow. I suddenly felt envious. Sure enough, this one is very Stanley looking. At his serious words, I thought he didn't have any evil intentions. But his right hand directly wrapped around her waist. Could you please add me? Hey. Can Stanley teach me how to pick up girls? I want to learn too. It's easy. From now on, when you speak in a serious manner, start directly. If you are beaten, just say that Stanley taught you. Holy crap. This works. Stop talking. Stanley will be my idol from now on. After this video people have changed their minds about Stanley again. When he is serious, he seems to be able to do any surprising thing, and there are people who have learned the essence of Stanley. They all ran to imitate Zero, but at the same time, the video continues. This also makes people wonder, what else would Stanley do that would be more outrageous than picking up girls? Wow. The scene changes, the background music becomes extremely loud and high, and there was a scene similar to an award ceremony. I am honored to award this medal to my good friend, Captain America. At this time the people on the stage said very excitedly. The people in the audience also clapped excitedly. People who are watching the video are also excited. But it's not Captain America they want to see, but Stanley. That's right. At this time after this person finished saying this, Captain America did not appear, but another person came out. Then the screen changed, and we came to the auditorium. Sitting in front, a white-haired old man wearing many medals of honor attracted the attention of countless people. He looked disappointed and said to the person next to him, "I thought he would be tall." See this scene. Everyone became more convinced. This bad old man is very bad. The acting is really realistic. He doesn't know what Captain America looks like. What a joke. Just when people want to complain. The god level transition once again appeared in people's sight. The sitting Stanley's glasses changed into red glasses, and he seemed to be wearing a mechanical arm on his right hand, which looked very strange. Immediately, countless people's expectations were bursting. What kind of role does Stanley play? I saw him saying warningly, "Don't move, my hand is not as steady as before." Finished. The camera turned to the side. When the sight of Thor tied to a chair came into view, countless people's faces were full of shock and disbelief. It felt like a huge wave had set off in my heart, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. What on earth is Stanley going to do? What does it mean that the hand is not as steady as before? Could it be? Are you going to kill Thor? Wow. At this time the whole universe was in an uproar. Countless people's nerves became tense. They all held their breath and stared at the screen in disbelief. Mistakenly thought Stanley was going to kill Thor. The result is here. Thor was very angry and said confidently, "I swear by Odin's beard, you will not cut my hair. Otherwise you will taste the wrath of Thor." When Thor said these words, countless people breathed a sigh of relief and recalled Thor's hair was indeed shorter in the later stages, but no one cares why it got shorter. However, just when Thor said this angrily, and in the eyes of everyone gloating about his misfortune, Stanley pressed the instrument in his right hand, and suddenly the heart-shaking blade appeared and began to spin crazily, and Stanley also had a sly smile on his face. The result was just when people thought Thor was still so tough. Then I saw that he immediately became cowardly and begged for mercy frantically. "Please, please, kind soul, don't cut my hair. Please, no, no." Silence! 1.3 Speechless. Countless people looked at this scene in stunned silence. Have they ever seen the god of thunder like this? Holy shit. Shocking view. So damn funny. Then after about a few seconds explosive laughter resounded throughout the universe. Ha 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 ha. Holy shit. I'm going to die laughing. It turns out that even Thor, you are timid sometimes. Ha 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 ha. I laughed so hard. The harder Thor struggled, the happier Stanley laughed. Ha ha ha. Devil. This is a devil. But don't tell me, Stanley is so fun. Ha ha ha. If it weren't for Stanley, I really wouldn't have seen Thor look like this. You are the son of Odin, right? I'm Stanley. I will still cut your hair, Thor. Got it. Turns out you cut my hair. Don't let me meet you again. I must let you taste the wrath of Thor. Don't worry. Next time you meet, you will still get your hair cut. Ha. He is Stanley. Countless people laughed. This scene after scene made people love Stanley even more. This bad old man is so bad, but it's fun. Very interesting. Just when people continue to look forward to the next scene, a subtitle slowly appeared in front of everyone. He has been observing, and at the same time, someone is observing with him. Observe. When the word grabs people's attention, their hearts trembled. They thought about the bald head again. Is the author revealing some information to them? countless people were beating in their hearts and staring at the top of the screen. The excitement just now turned into nervousness because they know that what they touch next may be something they will never know in their lifetime. 0.95. Observer? Exclamation mark. A shocking new ranking is coming. I'm so angry. That's definitely not me. It's definitely not. At this time point holy area point Asgard point the roar was earth shattering. I saw Thor roaring with his face flushed and his whole body trembling. If you think he was really angry that caused this, that's wrong. It's shame. That's right point ever since I became fat and was ridiculed by countless people point Thor became very sensitive. Chapter 149. I'm particularly afraid that my depraved side will be exposed. What's the result now? It even gave him a critical hit. He actually begged Stan Lee for mercy. Oh my god. He felt that he had no shame in continuing to be the king of Asgard. All dignity is gone. Thor, be quiet. But at this moment Odin's face above was clearly full of solemnity as he shouted in a deep voice. A strong pressure swept over him. Immediately suppress the noisy people, including Thor. When they shift their gaze to the top of the screen again I suddenly discovered that sentence. Suddenly a chill rushed directly from the back to Shinlinge, and my scalp felt numb. They quickly thought of the bald head that appeared in the previously hidden video. Not only is it mysterious, but I'm afraid it is also extremely powerful, and this can be seen from Odin's expression. Even the father of the gods paid great attention to this kind of existence, and his one eye showed shock. It immediately raised everyone's expectations. What exactly is the author planning to show? Not just Asgard. This scene is happening on planets large and small in the universe. Finally, the author is finally going to explain who the bald guy is. Hiss. Could it be that the bald man is also observing like Stan Lee? Damn, I'm so looking forward to it. What is the identity of this bald 09? And what does he do? How can an ant like me be able to see such an existence? Yeah, I feel like the author wants to expose someone else again. Hahaha, it's so interesting to be exposed and stuff like that. Countless people held their breaths, not daring to take a breath. They knew that the author would definitely expose that bald head this time. With a sense of anticipation, I opened the door like crazy at this moment and stared at the video. Video continues. There is a melodious and soft piano sound in the background. It seems to be telling something. It made the hearts of countless people calm down, like a listener listening quietly. Then the screen appears. There was a gorgeous purple everywhere, accompanied by scarlet haze, and it looked like it was in a place that did not belong to this dimension. At this time, the camera slowly zooms in from high in the sky. Under the shocked eyes of countless people, Stan Lee was sitting on a stone wearing an outer space costume, and beside him stood three mysterious men wearing blue cloaks. It was the bald man that countless people were discussing just now who was observing them. Holy crap, it's really them. Hiss. What are they doing here? The feeling is on fire. Also, why are there three? Countless people were breathing rapidly. My heart was pounding. Crazy to know who they are and what they are doing here with Stan Lee. Then the background music suddenly became sad. It's like the kind of regret you feel when you're halfway through a movie and you're so excited but can only end it. Stan Lee said in despair. Guys, wait, where are you going? Aren't you going to take me home? How am I going to leave? I still have many stories to tell. See this scene. Countless people are looking forward to the author explaining these mysterious guys, but seeing this scene with Stan Lee. He felt very pitiful, so he talked through the air. Good guy, who can listen to the end of your story? You are everywhere, but if you are willing to tell it, I can keep listening. That's right. If possible, I really hope you can keep talking. Hiss. Stan Lee is still worried about how to leave, so he might as well keep telling the story. Don't leave. That's right. Although I really want to know who the bald guy is, if Stan Lee is willing to tell me, I'm definitely willing to listen. Countless people seem to be talking to Stan Lee. Answering his words seriously. If that's really possible. They were willing to listen to him tell the story. But at this moment. What puzzles countless people is the translucent screen appears again. Suddenly people were full of curiosity. Why does a translucent screen appear at this time? It immediately attracted their attention. Staring at the screen, their nerves tense, very nervous. The air seemed to freeze at this moment. Want to know what to expect? Shut up, Stanley. Just when countless people were nervous, thinking that something terrible would happen, the background music in this sentence sounded at the same time. It shocked countless people. Their hearts beat wildly, and their whole bodies were shaken, and they were all confused when they saw a guy in a red tights pointing at Stanley and scolding him like this. They couldn't bear it anymore, and the whole universe rioted at %*. You fucking meow. How dare you tell Stanley to shut up? Who the hell are you? Fuck. I want to hear him continue talking. You actually told him to shut up. I'll fucking kill you. That's right. I haven't heard enough. Really, this guy's a spoiler. You are the first person who dares to scold me. I will fucking remember you. Good guy. This transparent screen and this screen are talking to each other through the air. I will remember you too. But is this guy also a superhero? Why haven't I seen him before? Hey, it seems so. Who is this guy? This is really the first time I've seen him. Hiss. Yes, who is he? Countless people yelled and cursed. Obviously they were responding to Stanley from a distance just now. As long as he is willing to continue telling stories, they are willing to keep listening. Then suddenly you told Stanley to shut up. How can this be tolerated? But soon they realized something was wrong. Because they have never seen this bitch in any video. Even if they wiped out the dimensional platform. This figure has never been found. But they didn't care. At this time. The translucent screen disappears. The camera shifted from Stanley to the front of these mysterious people and kept zooming in, as if directly entering their eyes. The background music became very quiet at this moment, but it also had an indescribable grandeur, as if it had entered a wider world. At this time. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. Time, space, reality is not just a linear path, but a prism with infinite possibilities. A small choice can derive countless branches of reality, creating a new world outside of the world you know. Stan Lee and them have always been keen on observation, witnessing the birth of new worlds one after another as bystanders without participating. They are observers. Are you ready to follow them into the wider world? Boom. Lin Lan just finished speaking. In the video. Countless superheroes come into view, but as he said, it is a prism with infinite possibilities. After it breaks one after another, it is like a kaleidoscope, with fragments of various sizes inside, accompanied by stunning background music. Countless people's faces were full of shock and disbelief. My heart felt like a huge wave had set off, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. I can't believe it at all. It turns out that these mysterious people are observing one world after another, and they are only responsible for witnessing, not participating or interfering. The last sentence made their blood boil even more. How could they not want to know what stories will happen in the new worlds one after another? I thought all Stanley's videos were funny, but I didn't expect the author to be funny and attract the observers at the same time. Hiss. Observers can actually witness brand new worlds one after another. What happened to me when I was on fire? I also want to see what other worlds are like. That's right. Where did Loki go with a Rubik's Cube? Can you tell me this? Hurry up. I can't wait. Good guy. This reminds me of what Gu Yi said. A different action can change the world. Chapter 150. That's right. I'm looking forward to what will happen next. Countless people were short of breath, feeling their blood boiling, and their sense of anticipation was stretched to its peak at this moment. They all remembered what Master Gu Yi said before. No, that changes will branch. But they have never seen what a change would make the whole world look like. But now the author's words directly filled them with expectations, and their curiosity spread crazily. Because they will see. Countless new worlds are seen by observers. How could this not make them look forward to it? How could it not make them excited? How could it not make their blood boil? So he shifted his attention to the dimensional platform again. A huge subtitle instantly caught their attention. The Stanley chapter is officially over. Pay tribute to the eternal old man. When People see this scene point, they all discovered that this ending subtitle was completely different from before, and the background is no longer fixed on a certain picture before point. All they saw was that at the end of the video, countless superheroes stood on both sides, surrounding the old man point. It symbolizes that he is the greatest hero. As that familiar music plays, people once again think of the scene where the hero appears, only this time it was an old man with white hair. Although sometimes he looks serious, sometimes he looks like a perverted old man, or a barber with a sly smile point. But they know that he is the greatest hero of all time. Without him point there would be no them. So countless people stood up one after another, their hearts filled with respect point. No one spoke point, although they really want to know what will happen in other brand new worlds. But at this moment, they only have respect in their hearts. Salute to the greatest hero. Salute to the old man. Salute to the eternal hero. Although the old man's story is not finished, I believe that he, like the observers, is watching from the sky. Yes, let these observers tell his story for him. 607. Background music kept playing point, and the final scene point, it's not fixed either. I saw the figures of superheroes rolling one after another, and one scene after another appeared in front of everyone's eyes, as if telling a story that will stay in their hearts forever point, until the screen turns completely black point. Everyone has not yet reacted to this kind of respect point. The fact that the story is not finished makes people look forward to it even more point. Just like this time point, they saw an extremely terrifying existence point, and also let them know that in addition to this world, there are countless new worlds, large and small. They are looking forward to it crazily. What will happen in those new worlds? Is it the same as what we saw in the previous 9 videos, or are those superheroes gathering to save the world? They do not know point. Internal group 519,124,243, but their thoughts are constantly diverging and colliding, and they are making crazy guesses. This ranking is over. What is the next ranking? I guess it must be the brand new world mentioned in the sentence just now. You have forgotten that the author likes to set up suspense. This thing must be foreshadowing what will happen later. Hey, that makes sense. I can't wait to see what the new world is like. That's right. I really want to see it too. I just don't know when the next ranking list will be updated. I hope the author can hurry up. I don't pray that he will be as diligent as today. I just ask him to update it once a day as before. Yeah. I'm so anxious. Why don't you tell me when the next video will be updated? Minutes past point, the background music played for a long time point. It's like a moment of silence, like condolences, but more of a tribute point at this time point. The end of the video point, it was also the subtitle they wanted to know most, and it finally appeared. Tomorrow, at the same time, a new ranking will be launched. Top 10 new worlds in the multiverse. 10 new worlds in the multiverse. When they see the subtitle, they all raised their arms and shouted, shortness of breath, blood boiling. It's exactly what they thought. The second ranking list really follows what was said above. It's true. It's really this. Update quickly. Update quickly. Update quickly. Holy crap. This is really what you're talking about. I can't wait. I'm not going to sleep anymore. Wait 24 hours in advance. Plus me. I don't want to sleep anymore. Countless people are full of expectations waiting in front of the dimensional platform. The second ranking list is coming. 0.96. The whole universe is shocked. Finally it was my turn for Loki to be counted. But at this moment point, holy area point, Asgard point, all the gods present looked at the dimensional platform in stunned silence. Although the video has ended point, but they have not yet reacted from the shock. Observers, countless new worlds, like a frog sitting in a well looking at the sky. It finally jumped out and saw the vast world. Odin, what kind of existence is the observer? Yes. Observer, is it true that he never interferes, as the author said? Then they must be very powerful, otherwise how could they see countless new worlds? It doesn't feel like they are in the same dimension as him. That's right. Dimensional reduction has simply hit us. Above The main whole point, some gods reacted one after another, even though they claim to be gods, but the author's videos let them know again and again how insignificant these gods are, and this time, the observers and Stanley directly dealt a dimensionality reduction blow. Just being able to see countless new worlds is enough to shock them. Even the author doesn't describe how powerful the observers are, but the gods can already imagine that the observers' strength is absolutely very powerful and terrifying. 10. New worlds in the multiverse. At this time point, when they see the new leaderboard names, my heart is beating loudly. It was exactly as predicted on the barrage point. It's really about a whole new world in the multiverse. I immediately remembered the scene where Loki disappeared with the cosmic cube. The author had no explanation until the last video. Then there is only one answer that will be explained in the subsequent rankings. This means that Loki will be on the list. It's really about this. Can we see where Loki went? Hiss. That's right. This time, our other prince will also be on the list. Right. Holy crap. Our Asgard is going to be even more glorious. With both princes on the list, let's see who else can make Ragnarok a reality. That's right. Loki will definitely be on the list. The gods shouted Loki's name. They all turned their attention to him. Even Odin looked expectantly. See every move of the people around you. Loki's face was filled with shock and disbelief. I even felt a little flattered. Once upon a time, although he was a prince, he was not loved or liked by others in comparison. Thor is more popular and more loved and supported by his father. That's why he was annoyed. But what about now? Not only did other people's views of him change, but even his father looked at him with eyes full of expectation. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.